Put my problems paper, dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper, dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper, dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper, dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper, dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper, dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper, dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems.
We have reached the end of the road in the European qualifier for the Chennai Esports Global Championship. We found our two qualifiers. Now we look to find who is the better of them, who will get their primary seed for the group stage when they go to LAN at the tail end of November. It's going to be big. It's going to be Mousquetaires. It's going to be an epic grand final. My name's Eternal J, and I'm joined by Dwayne as we welcome you to grand final day here in Chennai Esports.
And we welcome you to the Tier 2 landscape where a lot of viewers watch divisions like this and teams of this caliber to see the up-and-comers, right? To see the new generations. But yet we've got 4 out of 10 players in server today, Jade, that are 30 years or older. The vets are still here and they're going to LAN.
Indeed, they are, and I guess in that sort of sense, it is a bit of a throwback kind of LAN in that respect, although only in certain capacities here. The veterans of one side versus a team that's still rebuilding and trying some youth into their own sort of things. I mean, look, we're talking about rebuilds, we're talking about new rosters, we've been talking about upcomers all the week long so far, and it doesn't surprise me too much that the veterans have sort of come out on top right here. That experience has been a very invaluable factor over the course of the last few days.
Indeed it has, and especially for the French, when the majority of series that they played in this qualifier, they were the underdog. They weren't the team that people expected to push through and expected to win. So when you are on the back foot from just that perspective alone, of course it's going to be difficult. And I think the veterans see shown by the results they've been able to provide.
Yeah, some of them being massive upsets at that. I know that they've taken down at least one of our key favourites over the course of the bracket. So maybe a chance for them to now take down another team and show another surprise if they can pull it off overall. Of course, just 1 out of 3 qualifiers that will be making their way into the Chennai Esports Global Championship LAN event. 2 teams coming from Europe, 2 teams coming from Southeast Asia, and 2 teams also coming from India. The Southeast Asian teams and the European teams have already been found, Wag. And look, we are definitely looking at these 2 squads as being the 2 front runners for the LAN by default. It doesn't seem like it's too much of a challenge there, or too much of a 5-1 thing to sort of suggest that here.
Well, I would say for Big's perspective, yes. For Mousquetaires, though, they might get challenged against some of the Asian teams. I would say that if you're coming from the Indian qualifier, if you're coming from perhaps even the Southeast Asian qualifier, you're looking at Mousquetaires, who we wouldn't even consider to be a Tier 2 team. They're struggling online. They found it very difficult in the Europe landscape to think, even though it's difficult, we might just be able to give them a run for their money. We might just be able to upset them on LAN.
Well, again, they will have the experience advantage compared to those other sides. Obviously, the veterans are mostly on this Mousquetaires squad. A lot of the names that you might see, you might know a few of them, certainly in those in the Southeast Asian qualifier teams. I'd imagine, however, that they won't be gunning for a little bit more, being the European second division or second sort of runner-up here. Well, I'm saying that as if this has already been decided, but certainly when it comes to favoritism, Big would be the favorites in this kind of a matchup. But look, like I said before, part of the 3 qualifier circuit, $50,000 a prize pool here. For the Mousquetaires, certainly getting a little bit of a hands on that prize pool is going to be a big thing for their VRS, a big thing for them as a team, considering that they're completely orgless, and just a big thing to go to LAN in general. Again, they have made their way through the European qualifier. They're playing now for top seed.
Just to give you an idea of 2025, think about the lineups that have survived being unorged. Iberian Soul was one of them. They had a very good mid-section of the year. They ended up getting picked up by Gentlemates. Look at Mix, the old B&E guys. They couldn't last, could they? Eventually, time runs out. You can only go for so long without getting organization support. So for the Mousquetaires, to be able to get an international LAN opportunity, which will help out your VRS rank, which will help out the prize pool, this was a must-need. And you might look at these kind of tournaments and say, if they didn't qualify, if they weren't able to make that move, perhaps this lineup dies by the end of the year.
Perhaps so, but with a little bit extra $30,000, $15,000, maybe that might extend their lifespan a little bit longer for them. Of course, that's what everyone's playing for, that big old first place prize that has made major qualifiers out of teams recently. So both squads would love to have a chance of that. And if we are taking a look at them being our 2 key front runners at the LAN, then you'd expect that they'd be trying to aim for one of those 2 top spots.
Indeed so. I know that for Big, they have been featured at a lot of LAN events over the course of this entire year, and they've come close to some deeper runs recently. They had a top 8 at Philadelphia, they had a 3rd place at the Urban Riga, but what they weren't able to do is get into a grand final. So I'm sure now with Freeze at the helm, they've got different expectations coming here into India.
And they had to beat BC Game to get there. They looked rather impressive in yesterday's proceedings. Dwayne, you and I had said very exciting things about them. You and I were definitely along their hype train and looking at their whole level of team formation with the new roster changes that they've made and saying this is a big, they want to set themselves up for the new year. Equally so, Mousquetaires took down another favourite in Foot, the caveat being in that series there was a stand-in for the Foot side, whereas BC Game were playing full form and still Big dismantled them pretty one-sided.
Yeah, Big weren't challenged at all in this bracket. Yes, they may have lost an opening map pick to AM Gaming, but that was an opposition map pick. From that point onwards, they've been slamming maps. They had, what, 13 6s, 13 8s, 13 4, 13 5s. The knowledge that you can go into a series against BC Game, against 3 ex-Tier 1 players, Simple, Electronic and Nexar, and not even be challenged, of course you're going to be a heavy favourite going into the final now.
And getting the most one-sided of those map scorelines against that BC Game side. I mean, look, for Big, they have set themselves up to be a wonderfully competitive team in the Tier 2 environment in the European division. We should be expecting them to get at least up towards the top end of Tier 2 if this form continues, if they continue to maintain themselves, because they're on right track right here to make something very good at in this whole run in Chennai. A first place prize for $30,000 will set themselves up for a nice boost in VRS, and therefore be seeing a few more top tier, or not top tier, but tier 1.5 style invites for them.
And by day 3 of the tournament, the only thing on my mind is why is the GM at Big not brought in an international warper? Think about who they've had previously. They had Hyped, and then they had Cirrus, and come on, bro, that's just Zeds. Like, what's going on there? We see Grix. We're so excited about him playing, isn't he? He was unbelievable in that series yesterday versus PC Game. He made Simple look like he was botting out. It wasn't even close between the two comparisons.
And so contrast as well to where he was on that heroic team that he was part of previously. Like, it feels like Big have somehow unlocked him, and only on his debut performances. Mousquetaires, of course, relying on their experience. They have a Duvek, Jack, Sixer. These are players that have had a little bit more tenure behind them. Drak and Taki are probably the guys that people will be the least familiar with on the roster.
Yeah, Drak has still been around the local scene for a while, but in the lower divisions. He was a part of Ambush at the Arcadia roster, and then Gen 1 and Foot recently. Taki, I would say even lower, being a part of the DICE. Now, people may remember them in the lower divisions of Tier 2 way back in the day, where they had guys like Jocko, XPG used to be there, Pollock. We're not talking about notable names for the most part. So this would have been a huge opportunity. He's 20 years old, and he's getting to play with vets that have been at majors, a Jax who's been in a major grand final. When you get the call up to a lineup like this, no matter how the results are or how even the form has looked recently, this is going to be a huge learning experience for him.
Oh, look, they are still defined by their veterans, and I guess you could say that there's a certain amount of new blood injection on the big side, probably a little bit lesser so of the lack of experience factor, but regardless, these are two teams that are defined by their key figurehead veterans, and Tabson in the case of the big side, versus a bunch of players that haven't quite gained as much experience at some of the lower levels of the roster. Freeze, obviously, being a very key academy individual. Process of JDC and Grix less so because they've had their chances at those higher divisions, but it is just such a key contrast to sort of compare the pair of the team compositions.
And we know that for the core of Mousquetaires, they've been going for quite a while. This was back from the Foot organization, so we're talking nearly 6 months for them, whereas for Big, their core is fairly fresh. When they decided to get rid of Crimbo in the lineup and bring in Process and bring in Grix and Freeze, we're looking at a core 3 that dates back, what, 2 months? And then we're looking at a core 5 that dates back legitimately a single tournament. So I think that's something that Mousquetaires do have as a slight edge, is that the team's just been going for so much longer.
Now remember, it was the second week of October where Grix and Freeze made their way into the roster, so it's been very, very recent that they've had this 4-5-man unit. And as you say, Process, a member of the core 3 back in August, is where he came into the roster. So you know, the main sort of like lineage of Big is only really carried by Tabson, who was there since the very beginning back in 2017. This new generation seems to have come forward and is trying to now build around it, and I think that they've got a very bright future ahead of them. I love the fact that Tabson's now been unleashed. I really like the way that Freeze has come in and made immediate impact to the tactical game. There's a lot of cool things going on in this Big side. The roster changes have been for the absolute better, even if there's not a lot of longevity in the core itself. So Veto Processes, Dweg, we're going to be seeing Overpass, Nuke, and Inferno as our maps in the best of 3. Break it all down for me.
Well, I was saying it yesterday, and I said it even in the series when we were covering on day 1. Big tend to be picking Train. They tend to be picking Dust too. But what's happened since Freeze comes into the team? He's picking Overpass. He picked it against BC Game. He picked it against OneWin. Big are trying to move away from the veto that they usually have. Now, Mirage and Ancient, definitely permabans for both of the squads. For Mousquetaires, their 2 best maps in the pool, Inferno and Nuke. So I'm looking at this best of 3, and I'm saying, honestly, this is a good veto for them. They've picked into strengths, and they're going into maps that they get a lot of play rate on.
Indeed they are, and there's just a lot of positivity, I think, for them in this context. Again, I have to sort of side with Big as the favourites just because of the virtue of what they've been doing recently and the fact that they had been doing it at a rather high level. Like, I'd say that the opponents that they faced, even if they haven't been challenged in, the BC Game is a step above the rest of them, and you still got that asterisk next to the Foot result for the likes of Mousquetaires, with the fact that as well that Big will be playing in a lot of these top-end Tier 2 cups, and they should be going to some qualifiers, and they should be getting some cracks at some other caliber of events with their current position as top 40 in the world, or number 40 in the world specifically coming in this morning. This is a team that I think are well poised to utilize all this experience that they have, all of this backing that they've got, and try and apply themselves in the best way possible for this event, carry that on into future events, set themselves up for a great next year.
Well, I think too, knowing that this is just a seeding match and there's not as much on the line as there was in the previous best of 3, good opportunity to test the map pool. We have not seen Grix and Freeze play Train or Nuke just yet, so we at least get one of those maps, right? And that might give you a bit of a feel. Is Nuke average? Is it weak? Is it strong? We don't know. And this is a perfect opportunity going up against a Mousquetaires side whose nuke has been very infrequent throughout this tournament. They had a very good comeback against Gen 1, but they also had a really rubbish first half. Against Foot, they got 3 rounds on nuke. And then yesterday against Molo, opposition map pick, that went into overtime. So their nuke has been all over the place. Now, it's definitely their #1 map in the pool, but the last few days, they've had issues on it.
The thing about it as well is that, like, you still, if you take a look at the deeper results for this nuke, I mean, it's not just limited to just this tournament where the sort of results have been back and forth and up and down. You're seeing like a 5-map loss streak at a certain point for our CCTs and EPLs, losing to teams like Tricked and Zero Tenacity and ESC and Whopper and ALGO. It's just like, yeah, you've got quite a little bit of red in that sort of record. That makes me a little bit more concerned for the actual results. And again, when you're considering that you're facing up against the higher caliber opposition at Big, this should indicate to me that, yeah, they have got a bit of a strength, even if their own nuke is a little bit lesser so. I mean, it is still highest player in the map pool for Big in the last 3 months, and it's also got a lot of red, but I think that it's a very, very different Big back then compared to now.
And I was even checking out some of the tweets last night from the Big players. You can just feel in the language that they're using that this feels like a new, not generation, but a new push in the right direction. That you're starting to win, you're starting to show on the server, that you're putting a lot of effort in. I mean, there's no denying that this team was grinding a lot out of 2025, playing a lot of tournaments, having quite a lot of roster changes, but no matter what was happening, results just weren't getting any better. Instead, results were getting worse. So now that you've had a little bit of an uptick in form, you've been able to qualify to a LAN, I guess that's a lot of pressure off of the guys now. Finally, they can just relax a bit and realize, okay, the hard work has paid off.
Yeah, I think that is a thing to think about as well for them. I mean, like, I don't feel like they're going to be so not hungry as to not really put much effort into this matchup. I think that if you freeze, you're going to try and stress out as much of the map pool, as much of the tactics as possible, play into your strengths, try and really refine yourselves in what should be a very competitive environment right here. So I think that they're going to play relaxed but not complacent, I think is the way to sort of see things out in this series. Mousquetaires obviously will try and exploit any complacency, and with the experienced players in the core that you have, they will be able to exploit any concerns that might show up for the Big side. But I don't think Big are in the kind of form right now where concerns should really become a major factor here.
And if you were following the match page on HLTV, you'll notice that we were moving the times around a little bit. The reason for it, Mousquetaires have already been playing officials today. I was looking at their entire week schedule, right, Jay? They're in ESEA Advanced. They're playing in an ESEA Elite Cup, which was an official they just played earlier. They're playing in European Pro League. They've got themselves a CCT closed qualifier. They're playing in this open qualifier. Mate, I don't know how they're catching a break right now. They are playing so many officials off of HLTV, and that's got to be very difficult. But at the same time, when you're ranked outside of the top 120 on VRS, you can't afford to take a break. You need to enter all of these competitions. You need to do everything in your power to get your VRS rank increased.
It is very true, and for a team like this, VRS rank can lead to not just opportunities to compete, but also opportunities to potentially get signed as well. Again, it's an August project, so the fact that you will have a VRS state, the fact that you'll have some guaranteed tournaments with your ranking being high enough means that you have to get that ranking high enough to where that's a factor in negotiations. So from the behind-the-scenes aspects to the discussions more so about their just general level of form, you are right, they need to play quite a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of those events, first of all, are unranked. I know that Advanced is not exactly on HLTV for that reason. I don't think Elite Cup is on HLTV at all, if memory serves me correctly. CCT Qualifier is, so that's one thing, but that's a lot of, like, don't want to say like wasted effort per se, but like that's a lot of tournaments that won't have the impact in VRS like what you talk about right there. Worth it for the grind to get the team together formally, but in terms of impact in the context of this kind of matchup, I don't know how much that's really going to affect their position.
Well, I'll counter that and say there is a huge impact. Prize money. Like we've been talking about it earlier, right? Doesn't matter if they're unranked matches. How are you going to get prize money if you're going into the majority of CCT tournaments where you're only really getting prize money by going top 8s, going deep in a lot of the tier 2 cups? That's why they're playing in these unranked tournaments. They have to survive. They have to utilize prize money to keep the project going.
It is very true at the same time. Look, you can delve into the depths of exactly how far they've been going in terms of that prize money as well, and you can start to get an idea as to how fruitful those efforts really have been. Unfortunately, I think that that's conducive to a team that might not have a lot of longevity towards it. I mean, this is a team that was formerly under the Foot organization, and they were dropped in favor of the current team that they have at the moment. Probably a little bit of nice revenge there as well during the quarterfinal games. But the thing is that the fact that if you aren't focusing on getting the improvements in the necessary areas, then in my my eyes, that feels like a team that's doomed not to find a lot of long-term success. Certainly for the here and now, you will get a little bit more for Chennai. You're going to the LAN event and you're going to have a chance to prove yourself and get a bit of an elevated position. I think they need to utilize that elevated position in the near future though, because you can't sit there and grind unranked events and not make any progress in the grand scale of CS and expect it to last forever.
Well, even in this matchup, take where they are right now, 124th in VRS. They beat Big today, they go up to 113. Few more games, you get closer towards 100. So this might just be a seeding game for Mousquetaires, but this is going to be one that can elevate them further up the pecking order, give themselves more invitations, get themselves outside of this sort of open qualifier circuit that a lot of lower ranked VRS teams find themselves in, because it's very difficult. Someone like Big, if they lose this game, you're not going to get punished as much. You'll get punished a little bit, but they've got a lot of tournaments that give themselves more VRS points in the future. Now, I do think for Freeze and for Grix, we sort of spoke about them yesterday, just going to an international LAN probably feels like a good little achievement, because for Freeze, he's played the majority of his career in what? Meisterschaft, local German LANs, and then even Grix in the very early stage of his career was basically just at the Belarusian LAN. So now they actually get a taste that we've joined Big and we're instantly going to LAN.
I mean, for Griggs, especially knowing that he got a little taste of being at top-end level of LANs as well, with the Fissure Playground and IEM Colognes that he played at under Heroic, the two events that he had before he was summarily kicked and not allowed to stay for any longer. So, you know, going from that project into this one and you're immediately back to that kind of a position, it's not obviously as high of a caliber as those kind of events, but you still want to have to work your way up. You're rebuilding this project for Big, you're refining your place within the world of the Tier 2 scene, and so now you just need to focus up on trying to continue along that particular pathway. And in my eyes, I feel like that they're on a decent path to make that happen. Again, I'm backing Big. I think I am going to go 2-0 towards them. They just looked so good yesterday. They looked so well composed over the course of the tournament. I think this new Big roster has a lot of potential behind them.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Sixer and Co to at least hold weight on their map pick of Nuke. I haven't been too impressed with Big's Nuke in the last few events, knowing that it's a debut for Grix and Freeze. I think it will be contested, but I think we are going to go to 3, but definitely Big are winning this series.
Let's get into it. Overpass of the first one out. Big dismantled BC game on it yesterday, and they'll be on the CT side star to kick things off here in the grand finals of the Chennai Esports Global Championship European Qualifier.
A pretty common setup here. You've got 4 on B, 1 player out towards A, just spotting contact here from Tabson with a flash around the corner.
Blinded by it. Didn't see anybody of the CT side. Smokes right to the toxic barrels and try and block any aggression coming in from the Big side. Quick swings forward. Deva Duvet, good kill. Starts things off on Tabson. Sees where Freeze is. Gets that bomb well out of dodge as the Germans have to back off.
They've just lost all of that space, haven't they? They've got players aggressive into Monster. Tabson was leaning out to B. Now that they've lost that kill, you're on the retreat. You're falling back. You're retaking the bathroom's control. The bomb is still waiting to see if Deva Duvet is going to over-aggress, maybe still push on that sight line in from Monster. Now, Process has a lot of space, but because that bomb is still so further back, he can't continue to fight here on A.
It's the whole contest. Wait for movement to come their way, wait for the execution to complete. Meanwhile, the CTs have taken some map control back. Short access cut off by Jax. Good shot on Grix. Process faster trader. Now to reform with his teammates. Try and begin to split into that B bomb site. One man close towards Short. Third player going to join the defensive. Sixer domes in. Process as the backstab completes. It's down to 2 men now for Big. Bomb on site, trying to fight them back, trying to fend them off, but the Pincers are closing in. Shadows are approaching, and Big are about to get shut out of the pistol round. As Mousquetaires will start things off well.
Excellent shooting in there from the French. Good setup with the bait and switch. No one over peaks against the final execution or the final push in towards the bomb side. They get the smoke down towards cover, suffocate Big's chances of even getting a bomb plant. And for the Germans, there won't be much in round number 2 at all. That was a good start there from Jackson Co.
Big, not even a bomb plant bonus with them, so Eco Pistols come out the second, and Mousquetaires make as best they can out of this CT side. Run with it as far as they can do here. Make as much magic as possible, because you know they're big in their map pick. Do some serious damage. We already saw it once in this event. And they do not want to end up like BC Game.
No, not at all. And there might be quite a lot that they can learn from that BC game result in that we need to hit hard individually, and if we're not, we're going to get completely overpowered by Big. Now, an aspect of the style from T-side Mirage and Overpass yesterday, very slow from Big. Very few, I would say, aggro moves from them. So that's what you can catch on from yesterday's series.
Get a couple kills out for Process against the SMG players, but plenty of SMG frags going the way of Taki and Sixer. $2,400 in kill bonuses, 3,000 with David Duvek lining out the last one. Money will be bolstered by Mousquetaires. Big will be starting their buy states now. Rifles available for the third round. See how far the bonus weapons will go for Sixer and Co.
Yeah, Tabson from this new Big side, I would say has expectations of trying to get the organization back towards Tier 1. And for Mousquetaires, as well as it might be a pipe dream, you also have that hope and that belief. When you've got ex-Tier 1 players, you always have to be a little bit delusional, right? You have to have that ego, and that's the only way that you can get up in Tier 2. If you truly believe you don't have a chance, then you'll never find progression to the top end of the scene.
In case in point, Blame F said he wanted he was going to be the one to take Fnatic back to Tier 1. Okay, well, that's gone so far. Hopefully not going to be the same story for Big, and certainly with the way they're looking right now. Not expecting it to. 0-2 down at the moment. No early opening kills, but they have tagged Sixer for quite the amount of damage in that mid-fight. The AWP not landing many legs. Tabson's naded off for the monster angle. The early game they've been dealing with his position so well so far.
Re-smoke off towards Monster stops any of those walk attempts to can only continue. Mousquetaires are trying to block out here from the bathrooms with that re-smoke. You've got the M4 getting slightly aggressive out on the Monster wall side where Jax and him can set a crossfire between them. Now an info play from Drak is not seeing anything long and in the bathrooms at the moment.
Another re-smoke came down to Monster, so they're going to lock that position out. There's movement on the other side. Drak checking out all of the bathrooms. 3 men to face round the corner. He's trying to use the shadow advantage. Seeing one. JDC baits him, causes him to out of the... You're going to have to act rather quickly here, running out of time, but he's capitalized upon those kills. Tabson even with 2 out to that B bomb site. Dever Duvek can get the trade, but now they've got 1 player per bomb site. Orp and SMG. Orp is the target. Sixer ready to fire back against him. Smoke's coming in to the back lines. He misses his shot as Grix takes him down. Dever Duvek can't deny the here. It's the backside of Dice. The fire from range. Now the rifles will bear down upon him, and Big will get there first.
A difficult round from Sixer to try and hold on, because even 1 kill would not have ended that round, was it? You've got so many players packed together. Even if you deny the bomb for a single second, someone else is going to get it picked up and planted. He just needed a crossfire earlier. If Devidevec could have rotated that MP9 up towards maybe Truck or the other side of Dice, maybe there's a little bit more in the round. What a lurk out from B, from Tabson. All of that distraction slowing down those rotates. It meant everything, even if that round was a bit touch and go.
I was thinking he wasn't going to get away with too much. Again, they've been nailing out that position and dealing with him rather well in those early couple rounds, but for the third. And Big being on the board now set Mousquetaires back in many more ways than just the scoreline. Another set of HEs. Well placed at a boost, I believe, there. Duvik and Taki tagged down on that B bomb site, swapping weapons about because Taki had a pistol. He has the higher HP, so get the M4 in his hands. Sixer with another 5-7. It's only the 3 M4s for this setup.
This round might be over already for the Mousquetaires. You've been forced away with map control in con, an opening pick. You need to get a bit greedy, and that's what they've done right there on the boost. They've get themselves up, and they're even doing it again. They might get a 5v3 here.
Ready for this. Process caught, no support around him. And what should have been an over round for Mousquetaires may now turn against Big instead. Minute on the clock, so there's time to play with, and we saw how many times they fought back from man disadvantages against BC game yesterday. But Mousquetaires are not offering them anything here.
It's good work from Taki. Shows confidence in the ability Frey to make gambles or slight gimmicks. Sixer in this M4 might get overwhelmed. At least Sixer might out on the signpost. Now you've got a rotation from Devidevec. It's just the 2 pistols in close range. All they need to do is stall for time and allow Drak to be the playmaker.
Start backing up towards long, seeing nothing of the T side, so mid might have to be a concern, and indeed JDC is creeping closer and closer. The pistols will look to try and hunt him. All time. Flashes over, check position, kill on the site. Drak with a very fast responsive. Smokes come close and try to plant inside of Dice. It's easy, blind spray possession. Actually, Duve gets the kill together. Grix is slow to rotate. He's slow to get the bomb down. No time left for him. He'll die just within time. Mousquetaires will steal the round.
A 3-1 is a good beginning here from the French. They are making it uncomfortable for the likes of the opposition. And we know that Taki has never played at an international LAN before. He's only previously played at local LANs in both France and Belgium. He's got to look at this matchup versus a strong side in Big and also the pathway of going to India in a couple of weeks and just thinking to himself that this is probably the best roster move I've made in my career so far.
It's paying off right now. Mousquetaires lead by 2. Big still poised to try to do some damage here. They've got the 4 rifles back in rebought. No AKs were picked up by Mousquetaires in that last round. They prioritized the AWP. Sixer has it in his hands, backing up from long. With Drak also on the side defensive. Early damage has done gone against Jax once again. Tabson trying to work around that monster position, but the majority of T-side forces held up in mid and the bathrooms. Another noise being generated on the other side of the map, so it keeps attention drawn away from the real site here. Six has got a lot of work to do. Peeks in, sees one through the smoke. Shot to the leg and freeze is decent enough, but Jax is also tagged low. Barely getting that one. Duve can find Tabson in the meantime, so it's a 5-on-4 with HP advantage as well for Big.
Good work from Six, getting a straight spam on the connection on the fourth outway towards the truck. And now for the T side, I mean, Process and JDC are the only factors to win this round.
No one checked long either. Process kill against Drak's hands. Now it's down to 2 men for Big. Bomb is at least planted open for their post-plant angles, but the CTs are quickly coming up. Try to fight. Freeze does well for the first man. JDC now needs to get into position. Bodies are in the way. He can isolate one more frag back, but the diffuser's coming in, so even if he held on for long, he probably wouldn't have been able to find Drak. 4th on the board of Mousquetaires. They're starting to drum up some momentum here.
Indeed it is, and it's the veterans showing that we've still got it. You've got Sixer that's 34 years old, you've got Davidovec that's 30, Jax that's 33. These guys are still grinding instead. And as of right now, they are making it look very uneasy for Big. There's been very few rounds for the teasing ready for an execute in which they've had a man advantage or it's looked winnable. The French have been all over them to the start here of Overpass.
One of the key things now that you mentioned during that pre-match was the number of games that Mousquetaires is in over the course of the day and over the course of just the general, what they're playing at the moment. Whilst it could mean to fatigue sometimes, it can also keep them more warmed up in the early matchup. That'll be a factor that proves diminishing returns later in Big. Set on the back foot and not quite able to take that investment. Certainly not with the buy that they've got on the table. These basic pistols should lead to a 5th.
Now, we've not seen Six interconnect or even towards B's yet. He's pretty much maintaining that here and jump spotting out the guys. So Big might be able to clock off that. So goes down towards Monster. There's to be another cancel. Not really sure what Big hopes to get. They've got armor and upgraded pistols, but it's one smoke and a single flash left. It's so to get into this B-bomb site with that.
Right up the faces of the CT side, get the kills to take those AKs out, and then you can think about a bomb plant. So you're right. And they're just doing so well with Stall, and the smokes to Monster have not missed all. They put HEs down on Tabson at times and dealt with him as a probe shot. Access was almost caught for Tabson's part. X will get kill against him. The second one as well coming his way to the ice. Into those fights. Eventually, Grix will get a trade back, and Process can follow up on at Sutaki. Duve also goes down, so being done. Besides that, I know the CTs are coming in real quick. I might come into more 5 HP with M4 now in hand. So put the pistols pulled out and Sixer out of right, not risking a miss. Just take the kill easy.
We have you've not invested massively. You've come away with a few casualties. Really getting the order close down. I think a lot of favorites are Big. Just what could be successful. Now, they've been an advantage department. You do wonder at what point are we going to get a big green in the hands of Grix just to make a play, just to make.
up for difficult pause for Big as well to address this lack of success. Mousquetaires has much been all the course of this opening game, of the opening part. Fours are the good, one away from minimums. City side stacked up and running. A bit up to the system from Big. Yes.
I would say that these and Tabson surely not only humble themselves, but recognise that this is not a free pass. Yes, best of three was a whitewash, but you are still going up against experienced players that haven't thrown in the towel at all. They are grinding hard in Tier 2. This should be a battle of a best of three. I mean, 5, I think it's definitely an early wake-up call to realise we might not get many rounds on this T side. If we're finishing the half with, what, 3, 4 T rounds, we could potentially have our map pick under threat.
We'll go back on something you mentioned earlier with the potential of a loss in the series for Big. It would give obviously Mousquetaires a lot of points and 11 places in the world. It could lose Big 3 places if they take a deficit here. There's a lot of points that will be from them. We'll see Process also spots him the same, adjusts quickly to the headshot. Top fragger Big, so far so good for him. Individual finding that advantage as finally Mousquetaires going to connector and they lose a life for it.
Now, typically you would expect Sixer to play very defensively, losing a teammate, but he's so hungry for a returning fight. He knows how desperate they need a 4v4, so that's reading towards Dice, and even Jax wants to get aggressive out here to short water.
Tabson pays for it with both Jax and Taki taking back to the veteran and Process there. Advantage for Mousquetaires. I lean forward of JDC now, looks onto the A play where there is a player available. He sent over, he's blocked up by the truck. Six is exposed in the open. Neverduvet covering himself well enough, but not so far as the hold on to freeze. Bomb promptly secured. He's low HP, 2v2. HE comes in the wrong place, and now he can back off.
Oh, that's a shame. Didn't know the bomb was going down there towards Ice. That's a lifeline from Freeze. And Griggs is still alive. Now, we've seen almost nothing from him out here on Overpass. This is to put up the kills that are going to bring the second round forward.
Passive angles, though. You're only watching the long entrance. Still finds a shot onto Taki outside of Banks' doorway. Now Jax is alone. Trying his best to force the man down. Trying to look for a smoke. He's only got a flashbang with him though. Now baiting in the shots. Will go for some extra utility, but it's too late at this stage. He's wasted too much. Big have hidden. Mousquetaires will concede for the second on the board of Big. The savings were not exactly there for them as Jax wants to go up with the bomb. Have a look at how the money line looks. 1,800 for him as an individual. Don't know if there'll be a full buy available to them.
They're definitely uncomfortable with the money state, but I tell you what, that was a good-looking round for the Mousquetaires. I like the aggressive approach out from the short water. It's a bit of a shame on the timing that the long explosion is so quick. Six is not in a position that he can retreat, and also his teammate from Car didn't get that, or from the truck angle, didn't quite get the first kill straight away. Now, Six has got the big green fold, but you've got an M4 and then, well, really the scraps around the rest.
Tabson's press. Again, forced back by incendiaries, and the utility usage on B site again has been incredible for Mousquetaires, stopping any real major moves from Big. There's only so much utility available to them this time, though.
But they're liking these reboosts, aren't they? We're seeing it out from the traditional boost position, also this new one that comes up just outside of default. They're constantly trying to put pressure on the short water individuals.
Swing from Tabson, trying to look forward to Toxic, sees where Jax is. There's nowhere to tag damage. HE sent his way. Oh, what a shot from the Deagle there. Taki does get found in response. Orpa can take him to the other for free, so he can get himself over towards this grill area. But no one else to be spotted of Mousquetaires. Where are they going to move to? Back up towards water as Toxic is avoided upon. No one else going to face on freeze. 38 seconds, but you're going to have to start moving.
And they've definitely got freezes here. And Process is trying to set up util as if there's no one out here. Freeze needs to get an opening kill against one of these water players.
Well, you find Sixer in heaven, doubles up on Jax. He found the water player you're looking for. Might even get another one out of it. No, Devaduve puts him down. JDC finds a response. And Drak now an impossible 1v3 to maintain. He is smoked off from heaven. I think it was heard there. Just firing blind or whatever. The HG will confirm it regardless. That gives up the element of surprise that he may not have even had in the first place. Either way, he's got to save his gun. He's got no chance.
This might be one of the sickest lurks that you're going to see in the entirety of map number 1. Freeze is re-smoked off from Monster, okay? The CTs have just blocked off that area. And because there's enough distraction, there's a re-smoke that goes down towards the left-hand side of the pillar. There's a bit of spam back and forth towards short. He uses that very small timing to walk forward through the Monster smoke. Now, that's a gamble, isn't it? If there's someone sitting on the other side, you're just insta-dead, and you pretty much give up the round. However, that walk forward, getting him out towards Grill, has done well to be able to work that round. Now, dragging around that AWP that was dropped from Sixer, so he the next round, but Big is starting to show us some of that quality that we were seeing in the best of 3 yesterday.
Big climbing their way back up, but Mousquetaires still have a lead for now. That may be about to change. Eco pistols, AWP for Sixer. Really not a lot to speak of here from the Mousquetaires side and their overall setup, so. Cash basis shouldn't be enough. And therefore, Big should be making their way into number 4. I mean, at this point, their best bet, with the setup being where it is to hold on to that AWP for the next round. Should be simple enough for Big to close out the gap. Wondering if there might be any curveballs they could throw the way.
Do you think this is a bit of a nostalgia game for you, Jay? Like, do you get that vibe with the French?
Kinda. Like, when I think nostalgia, I think like Swedish Fnatic and Envy, because those were like the first teams that I ever like saw. So
yeah, but do you not also look at it and say all of those guys are retired? Because let's think about it.
Well,
We're going back there.
Some of them are, some of them aren't. NBK still playing, and
I mean, you got what?
The streaming, and he's still signed for FaZe, by the way.
Don't give me streaming, bro. Oh, you're kidding. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's okay because I can watch him farm.
He's still signed to FaZe, so he can still get called up at any point.
Oh goodness.
Nostalgia or otherwise, we're talking about a throwback for several teams, several players. I guess you could say for some people out there, which might be 1.6 fans, you might have seen Sixer quite a bit. You see Jax from the G2 days of 2018 to 2020, and some people even call that nostalgic, which is stunning to even me. Speaking of Sixer, he's caught 2 kills in this round. Process down, as has Tabson fallen. They set up a 5-on-3. They abandon this connector position, and that's where they can start to get some rifles back on the CT side. Grix is going to still find Taki and get away from Sixer's eye so he can join his teammates, focus down on the bomb site take, which is coming in from Freeze. Drak's been caught. Plant should be secured. But without recovering those rifles, this round does not have a lot of legs to it.
Jack's a good time, and he's just missed it against the AWP. You can feel that there's still threat. If Sixer's still got the AWP, there might be something in this round.
As Jax goes down, though, their numbers get worse and worse. 6 on 17 points of health to do the heavy lifting in this one. Orpa is not able to find much backup now. Devaduve will fall. He'll start to fall away. And again, like I said at the start of the round, his best bet is to try and hold on to it for the next round. Got a lot more out of it than he bargained for, though. Again, 2 kills, nearly 3 with Grix being laid down. It's a 4th for Big. See whether he can survive to the tail end of it. That scope, perhaps. There's Con, but they don't check the short water again, so he'll stay alive, keep that one for the gun by. Big still keep with 3 players as well. A rifle round to try and defend this lead for Mousquetaires.
Good work from Sixer to get as much out of that AWP as possible. He caused a bit of threat out there towards the short water. Just a shame that the A players couldn't quite stall. I mean, even Jack's out there from Bank. Got the dink off against Grix, but the kill big. Definitely being challenged in a different way than what we've seen in map 1 tournament. They're having to grind the mid to late rounds into COD. Grix is going to post to start off, and for Mousquetaires, you've got Sixer, who hasn't been too overly aggressive on the CT side. He's sitting around the bathrooms entrance, always on the retreat out towards the divider, rather than ever really getting there in the gun round. Good time. Yeah, Drak is in a position where they keep getting this boost up, and Process, or at least any of the players out towards the short water, seem to keep falling to it. And Tabson gets a cracking entry against Drak. And that was just a pure dry face. Trying to make a play, getting more retaking util down. Unfortunately for the Mousquetaires, they try and block out towards Monster and miss some of that util. That's going to bring distraction over. And the regroup is coming out from the bathrooms. Now, Drak and JDC just on opposite sides of one another. Now, Six is making a little bit of noise with the jump spot. That's going to be heard there from JDC. This is definitely an off angle that you do not see being held. Normally, players hug the wall out towards the divider. Sixer just needs to try and bring the save, but unfortunately, his teammates fall in the process.
Closing in closer, flashbang's good. Sixer goes down, player in the backline's also been seen. Freeze will take down Devaduvek as well. All looking good, all looking solid. Big execution potential, their coordination has come to life in the end. Maybe a little bit of a slow start in some capacities. Mousquetaires abusing that economy. Now with them having such economic issues at the moment, this indicates to me that Big are in a driver's seat once again, as we expected them to be for this map up. Trying to hunt down Taki as well at the tail end of this one. There seems like a likely chance that he might get caught. Freeze on the corner. Back turns. M4 does spot him, reacts late, but gets that kill. They're coming for him though. 2 more players on the way. 3rd man on the backstab. Taki. They don't go fully forward, which I guess is to protect the economy of the Big side, which is a good thing because they are building up cash little by little. Means that their strength isn't just in the scoreline numbers. 5 apiece, rifles are plenty more buys available for the Big side.
And I think this is what the fans and everyone is hoping for, right? You watched that series yesterday from just see the whitewash. Simple, not putting up numbers, electronic and coach not even being able to fight back. It almost makes you feel that that series is wasted, right? A series for a LAN qualification should be close. It should be competitive. There should be a lot in it, back and forthness. And at least this series, I would say, was a very good start for the Mousquetaires. And now Big are slowly clawing their way back in. I want to see a good second half from the French, because I think right now they've had some good chances, but they're just ever so slightly starting to lose that edge. They're starting to lose, I would say, the entire threat of potentially taking this map. This round streak is turning into something quite scary from the Germans.
A streak of 4 to end your lead, and now 1 more to try to take it back from them. And that buy state is not perfect from the CT side. Only 3 rifles, 2 SMGs. Killed the AK over for Taki, which is something. The Big got rifles on all of their players. They'll have that firepower advantage, and Grix as well, who has started to light himself up, started to light up the server. Sung his praises so highly yesterday, and maybe about to sing them even more so today. Alright, now Big just focusing on that slow default again into the B-bomb site. Devaduvek might start to flash his way forward and check out that short angle, but no one at the CT side is seen.
And they don't have too much more util to block. Another resmoke can go down towards Monster, but the T's might just press in front of it anyway.
Utility coming down, the flashes go over. He does get caught blinded, but JDC is focusing up as the leader with the bomb on his back. He gets the kill on Devaduvek. Taki good to trade back from Ram, but only good for one of them. Jax tries to resist, tries to stay covered up, stall for time for backup, but the firing squad is there and they can cover all those common positions. Getting down to a 4 versus 2. Freeze will be low, but everything else is pretty solid right now for the T side. Nay will take Freeze as soon as Drak wants to post it. But it's still 3 men for Big to the 2 of the retakers. 6 Absorb, not ideal weaponry for it. It's very late in the day, very late in the round, and they do decide to fall back for and save these two weapons for a final buy in the half. Big with 6. And try and gun for a 7-5.
Just heavy util out there on B. No lurkers into the execute. 3 players coming into short. 2 coming out from Monster. And there's just so many flashes. The Mousquetaires side try and block with the util out from the pillar, but they're getting overwhelmed with the trades. And that was an aspect of Big's game plan that was quite impressive yesterday, was just their trading ability. How many times when they were packing on the T side and committing towards an execute, as soon as they lost a death, it was an instant trade. It wasn't as if players weren't doing the most on the crossfires. So Mousquetaires have found it tough. Then the only time that they've really won rounds is if they're getting man-ups before the execs, aren't they? When they maybe do the boost towards the short water, or Six is getting a pick in from the bathrooms. If it's an even stance against an execute, they tend to not be winning the rounds.
Big. One more round to close out the half on a high note. They've already taken the lead, and they've already taken Taki. Tabson been marked rather well in this game, but this time he comes out on top, gets that kill at the edge of smoke, and just backs away from Monster, backs away from Short Pipe. Exposed to the AWP for a moment. They might continue chasing him here. Be trapped in this corner. Can't really make his way outside of Monster with the smoke up, make his way back towards Short or back towards T-spawn. Pressure pushes into connector will start to compound here for Mousquetaires, and an opportunity that Duvek might be able to take and Drax might be able to utilize. Unfortunately, their timing is off. They couldn't catch them in top mid.
I reckon this bomb's going to go back down in con, because Tabson's calling out that the bomb is completely free to pass. We are seeing no one on B, and if that bomb rotates back down con towards B, it will be round over from Big. They'll be running into a trap.
It could be a backstab from Tabson, though, because they are so far out towards long. I think Process is ready to counter push in from short. He's just got to kill mid. But Duvek told unawares that Drax may have something with footsteps or whatever, so they're going to continue with the A plan. Drax burns nearly to a crisp and dead to right to JDC. Will finish him off. And Sixer can regroup towards that mid position as Tabson's backstab completes and recognizes that nobody's here on the bomb site. Jax is the only chance they have in denying that bomb. Freeze goes down on the site. Jax takes down Process and now commit towards this. The AWP, 10 seconds, cutting off all avenues of escape. Tabson's down, player on site falls. And by a miracle moment at the very last second, Mousquetaires can take a 6th and just hold on to an even Steven scoreline at the turn of the half. The Frenchmen have what they came for, at least in the first half, a recovery to try and keep Dominion over big. A pistol round would set themselves up for another early opening half. The Germans have certainly brought their thunder after the early game was over. Now they can bring some more out on the CT side of their own map pick. Are there any major concerns, Dweg?
Well, I think the concern might be if we get some more Sixer flair. Man, what a last round that was from him. He's got to be a player that could be dangerous on the T side when he gets the AWP in his hands. Now, in for the pistol, you've already got a lot of searching going on. Double Con and Julie's at close range. Grix might get a lot here.
Duvek is the first player forward of the bomb on his back. Process might bait them in here with the Julies to capitalize upon that position. A third player as well up at top con. They're expecting this, and they're going to try and clear position. They've got some utility on one player, but no Molotovs in this position. Good shot against two players. They check that corner. No, they don't. Jack's getting picked out towards that short angle. The bomb's been dropped, though. Important one for the big side. 4 versus 2. It's still workable, but extremely difficult.
They've got plenty of flashes and plenty of time, so this is nearly impossible for Big to work with, especially that now Drax got the shadow advantage. All I want to say is fair play to Jax. That double entry out in con, that's just set up the round, isn't it?
It has. You talk about Sixer flare. How about Jack's flare? Ends up with a triple in the round overall. An excellent pistol. 2 out of 2 pistols for Mousquetaires. These early starts favoured them at the start of the game. Now let's see if they can favour them towards the tail end of it.
It's nice to see that Sixer and Jax are back together again, because they were teammates on the Envious Academy roster way back in 2018, and 7 years later they've decided to come back and get the duo going again. Mousquetaires going up against the anti-force buy round. Now you win this and you go up 9-6. I think you go knocking on the door of perhaps what you did in the first half and pressurize those early few rounds.
Fast into that big bomb site. Force buy was out here for big, so they've already lost that first. 5-7 and SMG still good to take up some Houchins though. Process surprises. Headshot on the triple. Tarki's fallen. It's all coming undone. Mousquetaires went fast and loose, and 2 loose to handle. Big steal the second.
Process has just got 4 with a 5-7 at close range. Oh, that 5-7 obliterates heads. Fast into the bomb site. Tabson just gets completely overwhelmed. You're too close. You're flashed off completely. I'm thinking, well, they're just going to get beaten by pace, aren't they? Pure acceleration. But Process is having none of that. That's a serious hold out there on B.
They're only offered up by one player jumping into water right above his head. He capitalized upon that, and no one else saw it coming. Huge round for Big to take, as Mousquetaires, they went 5-1 up when they got the pistol with the first half. Now, Big could return the favor. Tech 9's going to force back here and try and see if they can force out some more close quarters fights, but with rifles in play, Big probably won't take them. Connectors completely opened up. They're blind spraying down the doorway. Won't do any damage. Instead, the mid-fight will start to come out from Grix, who does take some damage of his own and loses his life in the end, first to fall.
It looks promising for the moment, because they can recover that rifle. They need a bit more, and Drak could just get a timing against JDC. Now, this M4 cannot afford to go down to the bathrooms. No one is in a trading position close towards JDC.
Drak spots. Surround this one from the bathrooms. Tab quarter defensive, held over towards the B bomb site, and they think that that's going to be all of those B lurkers. They're wrong to think that, though. The real execution could still end up here. The bomb is up on short. Meanwhile, JDC is clearing out all along. Is going to extend all the way up towards top end and mid. Backstab against the T side line. This info play, does it force them to counter rotate? The shots ringing out from the bathrooms will indicate that he's going to backstab against them all. See that bomb carrier fight on towards Tarki. Get Devaduvek. Still got Sixer to be close. Tech 9 wraps that corner. JDC sees him and takes him down. And now he gets his own individual moment with a quadra to his own name for Big's 8th.
Now, if you're Drak, you're out there from the rock, and you've been able to get one of the kills against Grix on A. You know that JDC is probably the only other player on A. If anyone else is coming, they're on rotation up from B. Now, you've sandwiched him in there at the bathrooms, haven't you? He put down the molly, he put down the smoke. From Drak's perspective, you are anticipating JDC to go defensive, aren't you? You're expecting him to get out of the bathrooms, go back towards long, maybe out towards dice. You're not expecting him to search. You're not expecting him to get on the front foot. That's an excellent lurk and a great kill from Tabson out there on B, just to relieve a little bit of that pressure.
Surge ahead, the Big now look for here. Money's bolstered, AK's in play for one player. can't get any more out for the next one, but they could try and do so. They get a confident round out and follow-up rifle because Mousquetaires will go down 7-9 before they can invest. But big be their victory path set up. Rifle win with no bomb plants means you go 11-7, and from there, well, almost past that finish line. Damage minimal into this round though. Mousquetaires upgrade pistols. Getting wrecked apart. One pick out of it? No, not for JDC.
Grix and JDC are making this crossfire in the bastards feel very uncomfortable for Jax. He's not really sure where to look and they get overwhelmed completely. Big get themselves up towards 9. Now, Griggs hasn't shown the same level of form that he has throughout the tournament. However, he is still the highest rated player out of all teams in the open qualifier. Over day 1 and day 2, he dropped a positive 45 KD difference and a 1.54 rating. So it's only going to be a matter of time until we see him be a takeover player. And it might just occur now that you're on the city side of Overpass, and it's definitely going to occur when we move over towards Nuke.
Rifles in for both sides. Whoops, black sides though, no need to bring it out yet. No money for Mousquetaires, and Big's happy to put Grix on the M4.
Now, just quickly here, Jay, Drac was playing COD in the first few gun rounds in the first half, but because he was losing so many fights towards Process on the other side, he ended up giving Con. And that was a pathway that was so successful for the T-side defaults. Now, JDC is a Con player, and right now, he's not been detected, but he has lost his teammate towards A.
In the hands of Drax, the reposition of the default has worked out well for him. JDC is going to back away from mid control and focus more directly on the Connect underpass. Wary of the fight that Taki is going to win. JDC next to drop. While over at long, players are making their moves into the bathroom. Task to find out there. And the long man runs away from the white. X6 can take that trade. 4 versus 2 now. Big in a bit of a rough spot.
Excellent gun round this for the Mousquetaires. Now you just pack and group. You leave a single lurk from Taki to cut players coming up from Con. Everybody else can just pack towards long. And for Process, I mean, he's going to need 2 kills and on plant denial.
Flashes come over. Process back will be turned towards the site. Out towards Taki. Comes into the wider. Chance to strike against both the players, but doesn't only get the one. Tabson now backing up to hold on to the AK. Knows that he can't win this one on 3. Not with the way before he's been shut down effectively by Mousquetaires and just not delivering to the same value as some of his teammates. It's only 5 and 12 in his kill count. Hinted though, that Park might be a point of save. He's right to aim with weapon where he does. One found, Taki down. Can Sixer get here? Smoked off to that position, so not quite.
Big would really love to hold on to this AK, and it looks like they're going to be able to do it. Mousquetaires, they're playing some pretty good Counter-Strike at the moment. That was good pathing, pretty good trades, made it uncomfortable for the big players. And who would have thought that Tier 1 players yesterday were getting slammed by this German side, but yet a team that's outside of the top 120 on VRS are giving them for a run for their money. This is not an easy match at all from Tabson and the boys.
Experience can be more invaluable sometimes. Mousquetaires are proving that. Especially that no man is lagging behind in those kill counts. All players are pretty even on the kill spread. 3 of them in particular have the same amount of kills outside of this round. In 6-2 on 12, Jackson Deverduvek on 11. It's 4 players, in fact.
And I want to jump on the point you've just made there, Jay, about the experience of some of the players. I got to see it firsthand. The last international LAN that the French played was actually an Epic LAN out in England. And that was when it was the core four of this lineup. So it was Davidovec, Drak, Jax, and Sixer. They ended up placing top 6 with the Foot organization. Now, unfortunately for them, they were defaulted by Mighty Max & Co. in the group stage, which was, some would say, unfair, however, within the rules. And it meant that the French had to start in the lower bracket. Now, I can easily say that if Foot played that game against Mighty Max, they definitely would have beat them. They would have gone into the upper bracket. I think that they would have got on for a deeper run. I think they would have at least made top 4 at a bare minimum. So I think they've had some challenges in the recent LAN tournaments that they've played. And then it could just be a bit of redemption to be able to use that core, keep it going, bring in someone like Taki, and now just try and elevate yourself further up the scene.
You were playing that LAN, weren't you?
I wasn't playing at it, but I was watching them play.
Ah, okay. I was going to ask if you played against them, because typically you do end up getting like the bottom seed, like lower seeds with your teams, and you end up playing like the big boys.
I will say that against the majority of teams, they were flattening the UK lads. The games weren't even close. The only 2 losses that they took in the best of 3 playoffs was against the Lions. So, and that's a Swedish team, not even a UK one. So yeah, beat everybody else.
It's a shame how things ended there. Now, regardless, positive to see how things are going at the moment, qualifying to LAN and still bringing the fight to big.
And it's good to see that Sixer has still got it. I mean, we know that a lot of players, especially in the French scene, have gone into retirement. You've got Kenny S, Happy, Kirishima, RPK, Shocks, Smiths, Devil, the list goes on and on. Guys that have just thrown in the towel, either gone to Valorant or just completely given in. This guy was the 13th best player of 2010 by HLTV. That's 15 years ago. And he's still going, and he's still playing at qualifying events.
Now he looks to beat the top 40 team in the world. Difference that could make. Mousquetaires quickly with the AK into the short position for one individual. That's Jax. Round 18 kicks. Trying to hunt for that first pick. Sees one. Just a small crack is all you need to take down Drak.
Jeez, that's a shot and a half. That's an excellent beginning in from Big. And Taki was able to get the better of the con players previously, but this time only with Khalil. It might be a bit more difficult to get that fight forward. Now, because they've lost the extremity player, it means that they have no info towards A. No one is in a position to put pressure onto Party to try to get into the bathrooms. So it almost has to be a B end. You've got the bomb outside of Monster, Taki that can come out from con. They can only XE B. That's the only option they've got right now.
Grex has found another one on Jax as Taki takes down a trade back and free is a man advantage. Locks in, boost up from Process, well placed. The time well on Davidovec takes him down to 2 men for the Mousquetaires side. Taki is not ready for JDC to be around that corner. Sixer will be able to trade it back, but now it's all on him to clutch the rest of it. Bomb plant could be secure on the side. He's got another player right back behind the dumpster angle. Taps it, forces the fight. The Process wins it, and Big take 10.
Now, if you were to ask me, Jay, what's the biggest differences between high-end Tier 2 squads and, let's say, teams in from the field? I would say it's the pressure points on moves being made. The better teams that are well-structured, a team like a Big, as an example, will constantly make it awkward for you on a default. Now, you've got the AWP song instantly gets out towards that B bomb site. As soon as he gets a pick, he just leaves instantly. And then what happens when there's a bit of spam going on towards Monster? Orp gets a pick, Boost goes out towards short water. Mousquetaires just don't have the space and the respect to be able to work time in the default.
Up. They've got the weapon advantage in this round as well, so all those issues will compound with the fact that they haven't got the firepower. Big should be on number 11. It's a half buy, so Mousquetaires can get one more rifle out of this map. It will have to be a victory from there, else it will be the end of them. You need 250s, Tech9 is trying to fight out a connector. Freeze is well knowledgeable of the fact that the bottleneck's only going to favor Mousquetaires, so just fall back, protect the bomb sites, and protect the round.
Awkward for the COD players. How do you even get out of connector and into short water? There's constant boost, there's constant fighting. And this is still I'd say a fairly heavy investment. A little bit of util, some armor, some upgraded pistols. They've got nothing. They've benefited at nothing at all in this round.
That will still equate to a buy, but you are right. On-plant bonuses may well help Mousquetaires at this stage. AK watching. Player acting on a monster. Gets quite a lot of damage for his trouble. Processing Tabson low. Tabson goes down. Let's go for some backup here, but Grix is on the scene from heaven. Shot down. Last player of Taki. Known about. Caught the backstabber JDC, who will make sure that no further casualties are sustained by the big clan. Now 2 away from the win. This buy needs to be a Mousquetaires round, else we will be done with Overpass.
And you ponder, at what point is Grix start getting threatened with this AWP? It just feels like no matter where he is on the map right now, as long as he's posting, he's getting kills. And he's just everywhere. He's just always on the move, always repositioning the big AWP. And Mousquetaires may have been able to win pistol, but since then, it was that anti-force buy, wasn't it? That's what's reset all the momentum in the second half.
Taki. Molotov's into connector, going to try and force C to make him move instead. No, it's process on the boost against the opening. Taki can train him right back, still on the ways of JDC. And now he is, and his too late portion. Top fragger for the team at 20 and 11. Finds a 4-on-3 for Big.
Flash assist is just so on point. Now, Freeze was flashing for JDC to get out of connector in case there was anyone out there at party or towards the front side of the fountain. Now, there's pressure on a contact on a walk from Monster and into B, but Freeze has got a re-smoke. Now, this should go down to the left-hand side of the pillar, and that will give protection between him and Tabson.
JDC really presses into Con, catches Jackson's back being turned. Short's clear, that's all our Monster now. Counter utils there for the CT side. The Molotovs will extinguish and so back and Toxic. Tabson can strike back on Drak. It's all 6 are alone again. 1v3. Tabson's low, but the AWP playing Overwatch from heaven has actually found a blind spot there. Tabson's hunting for the info, will get caught. Damage is done. Player back on short can strike. 6's back's turn. JDC can lock in a triple to extend what has been an MVP map performance from him. 12-8, map point for Big.
Now, if I was to compare the two teams, Jay, fundamentally, it's been not even close, not even competitive. Mousquetaires have been able to win rounds in the first half off of a little bit of X factor, maybe some individuals making some plays, having a multi that just about gets the man advantage. The movement and just the overall protection in the CT line has been excellent to watch here from Big. They are on point today, and it's good to see because the slow start was a bit worrying. 1-5 down on your map pick, not ideal in MR12 at all.
And they've definitely grown into this map up. Looking good. Mousquetaires with Mac 10s on the 4. That's all they can afford to get. They'll lose their first life for it. Taki's at least good to trade back the 1-man, upgrade to an AK. They don't full send off the back of that. Incendiary's in the way to block out that monster push. Flashbang in to check for angles, and well, Tabson's only good for the 1-for-1. Drak trades it back. Freeze might start to feel a bit of pressure, but fortunately Grix is still up at heaven, watching for players to make their way up. That Molotov bounces, doesn't do anything for them. In at water, that player's going to fall away. AWP needs to concentrate and focus on the right hand. Goes down, bomb, plant denied with the smoke that gets naded out, and the player at short taken out simultaneously. Excellent stuff from Big to end, and excellent stuff from Big to recover, as you say. Was a bit of an awkward position to be at, a bit of an awkward kind of start to the game, but they grew into it. They looked good, and now they hold their nerve and they take them up.
Do you know what caught my eye the most at the end of that map, Jay, was the celebration that's coming from Tabson and for Freeze. I think there's a lot of teams out there, right, in a seeding matchup that they'll win a map and kind of go, oh, whatever, like, good job, lads, let's just move on. If you're seeing from their faces that they're excited to win and that they're actually keen, that they've been able to go 1-0 up and they're impressed by their performance, that tells me that they're taking this game really seriously. It tells me that they've come in with the notion of, we want a 2-0. Like, we just want to beat them without dropping a single map.
And honestly, that takes the whole complacency argument that you could make into this series completely off the table there, because that's not complacency in my eyes. That means that Big are locked and loaded, and it shows in the server, as you said, later half, second half, Big looked extremely confident on their map. They're going into Nuke now looking like the well-formed team that they were in yesterday. Mousquetaires, as you were saying, had some individual moments that might have gotten them past the finish line, but against a well-structured, well-organized team with fraggers like JDC kicking around there, doing the kind of work that he did, with Process and Grix doing the things that they did. Grix's AWP especially, a lot of impact shared as it was in yesterday's proceedings. Again, I can only repeat the phrases that I gave to Big from yesterday's show. Here in this first map up, they have a 13-8, they have a first map, and now they move on to try and see if they can turn it into a 2-0 Dwayne. And I feel like that given the way that they're playing right now, that is a possibility.
Of course it is, and it's taking moments when they arise. Now, for Big, this map was won as soon as Process had the 4K with the 5-7 out on B. Anti-force buys in MR12, they do just win new maps. It resets the economy so harshly. It gives that opening momentum. It allows AKs to be saved on the CT side. And we can see they weren't even getting bomb plants in that second half. They weren't even getting close into the bomb sites. They were so not scared, but they were losing so many players to connector. Every time they're out towards Shortwater, JDC's on the flank. Every time they're trying to get out towards Long or Party, they're losing fights towards Process in there at the bathrooms. Just a little bit of a difficult second half from the French, but at least they're going into something that is a bit more comfortable. I know that we've said the results have been iffy on Nuke. They're playing a lot of it, and they'll believe that that's their main chance of being able to get a third map in the series.
And I do think that that's the right approach from their perspective. I'm also thinking about things from Big side of things and saying, listen, this is where Freeze will get to test his tactics properly. We talk about Big as being a tactically based map, and this will be a chance for him as an IGL to really sort of show off exactly where his capabilities are, because we haven't seen them with him as an IGL on this map as of at all yet. You know, we've seen a good set of maps from them over the last 3 months, but that's in a very different era. So this will be a chance, I think, to definitely refresh us even more so and see how far Big's map pool and progression has come along for them.
Also, very nice to see someone like Grix. I mean, when you're getting towards the end there of Overpass, and you just start feeling that you're getting your form slightly with the big green, you go onto a map like Nuke with a lot of freedom. You have a lot of ability on that CT side to basically be wherever you want, always be on rotation. This is not only Freeze's debut, but also Grix's on Nuke.
Indeed it is, and I'm excited to see it again carry on his AWPing. I mean, look, we've seen 3 maps from him so far in this tournament, and he has had very stellar performances in every single one of them thus far. So to take it 4 for 4, to be as impactful of a player as he has been so far for Big, to carry that onwards here and now, it just sets up even more positives for the Big side. They've seemed to have found a very key start in their own side of things, with an IGL that's seeming to do very well. Again, I can't sing their praises more than enough, so we're going to be singing some more as we head into Nuke, our second map, after the break.
Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown. Listen here, buddy. Pussy by association. Pussy by association. Pussy by association. Pussy by association. Dial up the deputy mad at my brown. Pussy by association. Pussy by association. Pussy by association. Dial up the deputy mad at my brown. Put my problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown.
Big is still looking white hot as we go into the second map of the best of three. Other pass might have started slow from them when they got going. They really were going, and they looked like the same team that dominated through yesterday's proceedings. Now it moves on to Nuke, which is pick here to leg. Although I will say that with the nature of just the eye test, I feel like to me the big right now still may be in the driver's seat for that 2-0.
They might get a 2-0, but they're going to have to work for it. Now, for the Mousquetaires, they've played Nuke 9 times on HLTV in the last 3 weeks, and we're talking about how much they're playing off of HLTV. It might have to be players like a JDC or even a Grix that will just push that extra bit of quality if Big want to close in 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, JDC, of course, rated our MVP of that last map up, and probably rightfully so. Top fragging in everything, delivered the highest rating, highest swing percentage, highest stats in pretty much every single regard, minus deaths. But I will say again that I think that there were a lot of elements in that last map up, like I said before the break, that really applied the impact. Grix obviously doing all that he could do. On the other side of the ball, we had Mousquetaires having a pretty even kill spread for the majority of that map up, and I think that that's a positive thing that helped them out at certain phases throughout that course. Whenever things weren't going that right for Big, they were always there to punish that and take advantage. So you could see why things were looking as good as they were at certain points of Mousquetaires, but Big still hitting the highest ceiling so far in my eyes.
They have, and I wonder, are they going to hit the same ceiling if there's a rematch of these two teams on land? Because I look at a fairly thin roster, whereas Mousquetaires have been together a lot longer and they've got into ex-tier 1 players. I just look at the perspective and Sixer, and while they might be able to hold weight here in this best of 3, I'd love to see this rematch out on land and see what difference we get from the series today to the series in 2 weeks' time.
Well, that will certainly be an interesting thing to compare the pair against, but for now, all we have is the preview for the online event. So let's see whether the Mousquetaires can stay alive. Again, they are down a map in the series on their own pick to try and establish themselves, try and establish some sort of foothold here in the best of 3 and stay alive over the Big side, who are poised to take this 2-0. Now we'll be getting things going here, and they're starting things off on the CT side for the German team. So this is a chance to really pressure early on in the game.
Yeah, Big have been very lackluster in the previous iterations when it comes to their nuke. Oftentimes teams even punish picking it against them. Fast-paced in towards the A-bomb site. This is very quick.
Counter flashes control out. The players in the backline are going to hold their nerve. JDC with one Drac and Taki forced to trade them back on the bomb site. So, kind of 4 Mousquetaires, although there are several low HP players to deal with. Absent starting to make his way back into the lobby, dealing with Jax, or at least attempting to do so. Freeze in heaven is trying to work his way forward as well. Tabson is dealt with. Jax will get that next kill back. Player at mini yet to be revealed. Freeze gets one of them before Drac is so fast to trade it. 1v3 for Grix. Goosh down to 6. So if there's one thing you can praise from Mousquetaires across this series, it would be the pistol rounds. 3 for 3 in success.
I do need to add some context, though. Look at what happened in the second half of Overpass. They may have been able to win all the pistols, but they struggled with that anti-force buy round, and that's pretty much what led to disaster. So even though they're winning the pistol, Big have shown in this best of 3 series, and also in the last one as an in-game leader, they don't mind a force buy. They don't mind putting that pressure on in the second round break. So from Big's perspective, try and see if you can make it 1-1 and make it very uncomfortable for the economy state of the opposition.
Set them on the warpath to victory in the last map up, as you mentioned, in that second half. I wanted to get just a lead for now in the early portions of this map up, so the context is slightly different in terms of what it could yield them, but it's the aim for that if you're Big. It's another force buy comes in. Force buy liberal, this new Big side. Characteristic of Freeze's calling, Tabson's calling. Has worked out for them to be fair to them. Tabson, in fact, opens up the kill count against Taki. Jax is fast to trade it, and CT rotations are also inbound and all. Devaduvek could work something else as JDC finds 6er, so that's advantage reclaimed by Big. Devaduvek's walkout's going to start to call in the backup rotations. The bomb's still out there at ramp. Low HP for the man. Devaduvek finds Freeze. Process starts looking to act. He'll hit the shot he's looking for. Peeked in by Jax instead, so the man advantage regained. JDC trades it back. One more player to gain. All he needs is a good person. He's going to get it. Direct drops the bomb. Devaduvek will be known about as well. Scout to the outside, lands it, and there is the steal. Locked in by Big.
Now, let's remember back to what happened on Overpass. How was the round won by Big? It was a full-on rush, wasn't it? They dove in towards Monster. They exploded on the B bomb side. Big have a pretty good read of what Mousquetaires are like against these round 2 buys. It's another rush, isn't it? It's fast in towards the ramp, and they were prepared for it. Tabson's able to go 1 for 1. Now, there has to be a little bit of X factor. IV3 freeze that happens there from Big looks quite good from the opposition perspective. It's just that JDC gets 2 kills with the MP9, even being on low HP. And that hurts, because this has happened twice now. And it's sometimes, I always say it, Jay, in CSGO, gun rounds win you maps and win you series. In MR12 in CS2, it's the anti-force buys that win you rounds and win you entire maps and entire series.
It's a fair assessment to make of that. You mentioned earlier how There was that one round that got them, then that was the conversion, as you mentioned. Exactly same situation here, of course, again, earlier on during the series, or during the map, rather. And trying to work a lead up for the big side now, 1-to-1 on their board, dealing with that fast pace. And once again, returning to the slow nature of Mousquetaires, because it's clearly not working for them. 2 times they've tried it, both times they've failed. Tech 9's pulled out the Mac 10s and all, try and pick up the pace a little bit to the outside defaults and plays for the game. Freeze and JDC ready to shut it down. They'll do just that. Drak with 1 pick back on the outside, but this shouldn't turn much more than this. So grab an AK, but he should get hunted.
Good ability there to shut down the secret player of Drak, and then everyone towards A just completely collapses. That's big on top of the start here of Nuke. And Freeze, the in-game, did a bit of homework last night. Only 5 international entire career. All of them, fun enough, being with alternate attacks. And that was during the 2023 and 2024 period, the largest event that he ever went to Cologne. Otherwise, a couple of small international European lands was basically his ticket to seeing what it's like to kind of move up, right? Get outside of the German scene.
A bit of bonus experience. Team fighting with JDC on the outskirts, 6 up. It's only eco pistol for this time for Mousquetaires, and JDC actually might get overwhelmed with the number of pistols that are out there. Having fun with the process as well, but rifles shouldn't lose anybody here now with the 1 versus 5 together. Dudek can't even get the isolated picks. All 5 alive. Big can really build upon this confidence now. Rifles will return for the Frenchman. To emphasize the importance of these rifles now, the chance they require. Shut down this momentum from Big, not allow this streak to get out of control like it did in the last map.
Even thinking about Freeze, Jay, just mentioning it there about the experience factor, this is also his first time calling in English. Like Tabs and JDC and Process, they've had it in before. They've had those international players. But for him, he's only in-game led German teams. So this is going to be a new chapter for him too.
A lot of the fame that he has, a lot of attacks like from yesterday. Drak's going to get himself famous for Grix and JDC to go down. Those 2 impact players found quickly on the outskirts and trying to change the narrative. Even when JDC seemed like he had the flank against the man. Drak alive at 10 points of health. The Tabson acting inside of the lobby, going to hear them coming to get that bomb carrier to drop. He's going to focus on the hot entrance though. Freeze caught, they slow it down, they start hunting for the man. Process on outside, strikes back, Tabson deals with Sixer. 2v5 this situation started at. 2v3 now, as Process gets caught. It's 1v3 for the Nation.
Tabson doesn't even get anything. What a round that is from Mousquetaires. The outclassed Big. Just the double kill on the outside was on the money. And then from there, you've got lurkers deep out, suck inside. Out there on the A-bot. Every win is Big, find a kill, they're just instantly getting traded. Now, the money is not close towards a reset, but it could be on the next round. $1,900 in the loss bonus, low economy for Freeze, Grix, and the likes of JDC. This is a must-win from Sixer & Co.
Big conceding a lot of the ram control this time, not active on the defensive as Tabson has been before. Instead, he's backed up towards the bomb site. With Process in tow, Frenchmen slow things down with their initial take of the map control. They're going to lean forward to the doorways and try and prod at the B bomb site. Will it end up with a definitive hit though? And I guess we'll find out in due course. 4 players are out here. Turn away from Tabson. Big get caught by the flank. This is his nade. Process to death. Protection though does a wonderful job. And now he's got to hold the whole defensive line. Runs out of ammo on the 3rd casualty, reducing Taki to just 15. A 3-on-2 still for Big.
Well, thank goodness Process can shoot. That's a big whiff. And that is the protection coming through from the secondary teammate down at lower. Now, JDC and Freeze are already in rotation positions. Does Drak expect the fight so quickly?
Yes, he does. Freeze looking up the ladder, or up the stairs rather. And now it's all on JDC. Drac generating significant impact with the rifle in his hands. Finds his kill. Taki down. The bomb with him. Has to be a challenge from Drac coming up from the upstairs as well. JDC hasn't got the information. All he knows is his last position was a secret. Now we'll start to hear those footsteps. Just wait for the man. No time to waste. 15 seconds. Diving in. Drac. Close quarters. Gets killed off. JDC holds the clutch, just about finishing off the efforts of process on Vic.
And I do feel for the French because they've done a lot right in that round. They've got themselves path down quite nicely towards the lower corridors. Good spacing, and Process just gets 3. And then even in this 2v2, you start to slow down just when your teammate of Taki is trying to push out there to the mini ramp. He gets caught, and you're losing a clutch. And now the buy state for Mousquetaires to a hero AK, but everything else around it is very weak.
Reset that economy again, Big. And economical control throughout the course of this majority of the series. Taki still finds the AK brought back in to find the key. Opens things up. Damage being done to him and his teammates, though. Dever Duvek caught outside a secret. JDC is going to try and adjust towards that man. Look off on the door just to make sure that there's no further action from Mousquetaires, and Freeze is a little bit well covered. But he'll be pretty much without support here.
But JDC hasn't seen anything on the rotation, and Freeze is going to get out towards the closed van corner. Now, Griggs on the outside with the AWP is still not seeing any stragglers. He's not seeing a lurk. Mousquetaires might have the weakened buy state, but with A being light on defense, if they can get out towards Hut and trade Freeze, then they should at least be able to get themselves into a post.
And they've left a bit the open here. They're focused on setting things back up to ramp, and now they've put a second player back on the A bomb site. Boost up the JDC to look over from heaven. The bomb's still in lobby, so this might not be a last second call. If they do, then they're going to have to run right into the hands of JDC on the ramp defensive. Devaduvek is making his moves outside, contested by Grix. Freeze. Did he just catch? He heard the footstep. Come down. Try to drop the bomb against 6, and he'll do so. Second player into the backstab. Jax will try and capitalize. And now that gives Tabson a chance to move his way forward. Now watch Decon door. He's turned away from the checkout the windows. Moving up the rafters. Sees 2. Takes 1. Finds that second. And knows that the third's back at the stairs at Decon. 10 seconds. Bombs dropped. And round should be over for Mousquetaires. Very last second decisions there made by Big, but it's worked out for the better. The last Mac 10 own 10 to hold over into the next round. Can't get to any of those rifles. And Big F5.
And if you are the in-game leader there from Devaduvek, I'm not sure what else you can do differently. Fundamentally, that round is perfect. You've got an opening man advantage, you've got lower contention, you've got the bomb site on B, you've got a lurk on the outside, and they've got a lurk smoke to go into the vent. Everything about it is on the money before they do it. Unfortunately, the timing of the bomb being dropped is a bit awkward. It wastes, what, 2 seconds, 3 seconds maybe? And then for Tabson, he's on rotation, out in the open, on and off angle, and still gets 2, stays alive. I don't know how Big are making some of these individual moves happen. I mean, JDC's just won a 1v2. We've just seen that from Tabson. Big fragging is exceptional right now on Nuke.
Indeed it is. Individual firepower most certainly there, and you combine that with all the rest of the aspects we talked about, and it just equates to success for the German team. They're looking good. Unstoppable in certain aspects. Even when you feel like they're feeling pressure, they somehow come out away still with the round, sometimes with even confidence on top of that.
Well, I'd say it's been the reverse from the last map. I thought fundamentally we were seeing a lot better Counter-Strike displayed by Big, and it was the French that were putting up more individual efforts, whereas this is completely turned around now. I think fundamentally we're seeing some really good timings from the Mousquetaires side. They're definitely working opening picks. We saw that with the Hero AK out there towards the door to catch players sleeping, but individually letting themselves down.
At least everyone who's not Drac on that side, who has been my kind of like MVP candidate for that side of the board. Because his outside pressure and the kills he was getting on that position have changed some of the complexion of the terrorists. Unfortunately, like you say, the rest of the team not so much. Sixer, in fact, on 0 and 7 on his skill count. Sin and Process strike early. Type 4 pistols. Not even that, actually. Mostly eco pistols to JDC getting another one outside of Mini. Devil default, Drac and Sixer. And a 2v5 should be dropping down all the same. Shouldn't see much more out of them. Maybe a pick, maybe a bomb plant, but you aren't banking on it.
No, not at all. Big have locked out everything, and JDC is in a lot of impactful positions right now. So he's the door player, but he's constantly changing his position. He's working on the outside in main, he's working on the top side on A, and he's making it very uncomfortable for anyone that wants to try and drop Ven or try and bring some pace. We saw that with the breakage of the smoke and just a freebie against Jax. Now, when I reflect on Overpass, especially that second half, we saw Pistol being won, instant first gun being won by the French, instant reset. It's the same as what's happened here on Nuke. If you're not stringing rounds in a row, you're going to be on the backside of the economy, the momentum's going to be really difficult to break, and then also keep giving AKs away towards Bit, which gives them more firepower to work with on these gun rounds.
Fourth at a good on minimum 6 right now. Bigger a perfect position. Equipment. Scoreline. Money in the bank. How much can they get out of this half? They should be able to win it at some point, just given the number of rounds they've got to try and do so, just to take that 7th, but can they stretch it further? 10-2 would be the best case scenario for them if they were able to do so. Mousquetaires are taking this extremely slowly.
Tabson's walking the corridors of Secret and he's seeing nothing. So they know that the only player outside was that individual out at Silo. So that should be a tell that it's either going to be a ramp or an A play.
Oh, Jax is struck with 2. Process and JDC down. One more player in the rafters. Freeze can deal with him. Look to double up. Struggle to do so, though. Devaduvek takes one more. Grix returns with the AWP, but he's on 16 HP for the rest of this clutch. He knows he can't make it happen. Outside control from Drac coming up slowly. Took one of those rotators out. Supporting the true hit from inside of lobby. Now look for the exit frag. Good shot from Grix. Could escape with his life and should escape with his life. Mousquetaires get to the 3rd.
That winnable round coming out from the entry fragger of Jax. That's him at his very best. Vintage. I look at him as a player, and for a very long time, he was easily France's #1 entry fragger. The problem I think he found himself at Tier 1 is that G2 started moving away from the French lineup, didn't they? He came in when it was full French, and then eventually you bring Nexa in, you bring Hunter, you bring Nico, and when the team starts getting European, it starts getting international, you can just upgrade him. And you then find from there that once you get dropped by a Tier 1 team like G2, very difficult to bounce back. He was a part of Heat for a little bit. He went to TSM, played in the local divisions with Gen 1. He helped NIP out for a little bit with their whole wildcard situation with the Core 3. He's been stuck in Tier 2 for quite a few years now.
Rifles reball by Big into round 10. On Mac 10s on Drag, AKs for 4 others. Big. And the rest of the gun bases have execution defend off into upper more directly with the 4 players. Quickly. Flashbangs, freezes, blinded, burning, does manage to combine for one kill. The Process gets both the casualties he's looking for. Devaduvek and Jax going down. Process still inside of that smoke as the Mac 10 comes up good against him. JDC will find Sixer in the interim. 3v2. Maintain. Grix is up in heaven. Catches Taki next. Drops down into the site and Drac. You're aware of that one footstep and aware of the second player now towards this squeaky door angle. Doesn't matter. Grix will still get his kill. And Big find everything again. 7-3.
Well, that was pure quality coming through from Process, because we can see from Freeze's perspective, he's struggling for burning, and he's just full blind. What makes Anchored to do there? Hope to spam? I mean, hope that you can hold mouse 1 and get a kill. The only way that that round is winnable is if Process steps up, because he's the only other A player. He's got 2 kills and stayed alive. He's wasted so much time that it brings Grix on the rotation out to heaven. And that was on the money. That was a really good round for Process.
Speaking of money, Big may be on the money, but Mousquetaires are off of it. No economy again to rebuy back into round 11. They're going for a 12th buy instead. Sets Big up for a 9-3 prime position. All they have to do is make sure these pistols don't surprise them. JDC finding one from that smoke here. The footsteps of Devaduvek. It's all a bait though. The other 2 players crossing. One against before. Finds him anyway. Drops that bomb and everything. Mousquetaires. I mean, Taki and Jax left to try it and work something else, but with the bomb being lost, I don't know what else you can work. Damage, does that even mean anything at this stage? Again, their focus was to save into the gun buy of the next round. And they will need to have Jax and Taki go down here in order to make sure that happens. They are waiting for Big to move into their positions, and Process Backstab will start to give them what they want. They punish it. Taki can't. Jax shouldn't be able to do so either. Found by JDC. Process with a triple in the end. All 5 alive for Big for one more round in the half. 8-3 up at this stage.
And while it's nice to see Big performing well, I think it's a shame that Sixer is just completely missing out here on Nuke. This is a guy that once upon a time replaced Kenny S. And his first Liquipedia tournament was all the way back in November of 2006. That's 19 years ago. This is a guy that has been a staple in the French scene for basically all of 1.6, Go, and now CS2. Right now, we're just getting nothing from him.
Getting a lot out of Drac though, who's still trying to provide outside support. His position in the red box has done wonders for his team at times, but just no support around it. Jax has managed to make his way into the A bomb site though, seeing nothing, and then it's seated presence, and the bomb can start to make its way out here. It is still hold up outside though, so if Process can cut it off, and that could be enough, but Jax will have a ton of map control. A major advantage when it comes down to working into the bomb site. You have got Tabson watching for the backstab over towards this lobby angle, so the bomb makes its way from that direction, and there are cut-off points for Big.
But this is a crazy timing, because Tabson's cleared out lobby and said everyone's outside. What he doesn't know is that Jax is out here on A, and Freeze, well, he's just a sitting duck. This is an easy kill.
I'm about to find that out the hard way. Now Tabson going to have to start to think that they want to make their way from outside. Well, Process will be watching for them. Utility inbound. Check for the Galil. Drops off. Jax walking in. Tabson gets picked up. Process will also go down. And it's all on Grix suddenly. A 1v5 where not a single player of the team has taken damage. So, Big will make a final concession to close the half.
And get themselves a 4th. Mousquetaires, unfortunately, not being able to string any rounds together in that first half. But hey, if they can go 3 for 3 in pistols, then surely they can go 4 for 4 in pistols.
And it's worked mostly. Well, as I say that, actually, two of the three they've won so far have actually been conversion steals from by Big. And the pistols certainly aided them when it came to the start-up in the first portion of the series. So maybe it'll be a chance now to convert to momentum and try and hold on to dear life. For now, though, it's 8-4 for Big, first half. Mousquetaires' one big saving grace has been their pistol rounds in this series, and when they're down by 4 rounds here at the turn of the half on their own map pick, they need one to have our lifeline. For Big, this will be their true litmus test. Their T-sides have been pretty dire at sticks in the last 3 months, so a chance for Freeze to prove that his IGLing can do some decent damage and make a decent change for them. Pistols alive for the 2nd time on this map.
You've got Tabson with outside util. He's got himself a smoke and a HE that's going to go down towards the vent. So this is going to be an explosion towards A. They're going to be able to get the HE off towards the door, you would expect.
Adjustments set in. Molotov's upstairs. Jax with 2 teammates to support him. Good headshot on Process. Devaduvek also clinical and clean. Lines up some damage on the next 3 players right behind him. Freeze gets 1 pick back out of it. Jax struggles to get some more on, and Six is forced to assist him with that kill. His first kill of the game, by the way. JDC still trading. They've got top of heart unawares of. Freeze turns it into a 2 versus 2 by finding Sixer at the closed vent corner. It's Jax. 60 seconds remaining for him to hold the defensive with Taki rotating back out from heaven. JDC's being caught. Jax can deal with him. It's Freeze alone now. Needs that headshot quick, and he gets him. Advantage tips his way at the HP, but no idea of exactly where Taki is, and no bomb control either. Check position. Now he's seen him, and he goes straight for the kill. Wins it out for Big. Their first pistol win in the series couldn't have come at a better time.
And it's another 1vx. We were impressed with what JDC was able to do with that 1v2 out on ramp with the MP9, and now we see it from Freeze. Now, that round looked over. Looked completely done. Jax was getting an opening kill. Was holding his way out there from the back of default. The T's just couldn't even get out to A, but slowly but surely they recover a 2v4. Impressive shooting coming out from Freeze. And for Mousquetaires, they've definitely had chances, haven't they, out here in the first half and now looking into the second. But they haven't managed to come through. And that's Big, just showing that they're the much stronger team in this matchup today.
At times it felt like Mousquetaires were going to challenge them, but you bang on. Big have looked lights out basically since round 6 or 7 of the first map. Not missing a beat. And not on the DT side of Nuke, not on the T side thus far. The pistol win going to catapult them into the rifles. The bi-state of Mousquetaires, of course, affected by the loss of the pistol. SMGs and Mag 7s and Scouts will still come out to try and get that final lifeline. They've lost so many round breaks over the course of this best of 3, so maybe they can return a favor and buy another lifeline.
I don't know that we've been quite impressed by Grix yesterday, but this entire best of 3 has been the rifle department, hasn't it? It's been big on AKs and M4s that have shown their quality the most. Out here on the outside, Sixer with the Scout is just trying to peer with players taking space. There's not much that you can do to fight against this. It's easy secret control from the T's.
No contention. I don't know as much to offer in the first place. Mousquetaires got very little on the range game. The Scout is the only weapon could work outside without getting right up in the face of Big. The SMGs and Mag 7 can't do it. And they're placed ready to receive them on the upper bomb site, more specifically. Drac. And 1 man down at lower. JDC moving up to heaven. Might get caught by the shotgun at close range. His teammates are working downstairs in the meantime, though. Does he want to continue with this? He might make some noise. Baits out, ducks underneath the buckshot. The kill gets found. Jax at least dives in on Tabson, gets a kill to return. Now Drax up to defend out on the B play. Players' backs are not turned yet. They're not making the moves in 13 seconds. They're going to have to go for this bomb plot now, but Drax suppresses, and the time might be worth it here for the Mousquetaires side. Galil's caught back. Devaduvek strikes. No time for the bomb plant. The process is stalled out here. JDC, similar story. Jax just protects himself. He's just around that corner by 7 points of health. Mousquetaires maybe went a little bit too aggressive, but they still come out with the steal.
Drac on the lower bomb site is trying to pull the team ahead. We've had quite a few rounds where he's developed impact, but it hasn't led to too many round victories. That one from him towards the double door is a clear example of him making a difference. Now, for Big, they may have been able to get quite a lot of success forcing the over-rotations, but the one player on B and then just the flooding of the bomb site. So many quick rotations from the French.
just fast, and this time Big unable to keep up. For once, the lack of time towards them has affected their game. It's usually been well coordinated up until the tail end, but as you say, Drek providing a couple of good kills, defending on that bomb site on his lonesome almost. And the Tech-9 still come out to take some ramp control, take down Taki as well. B site under siege, Bomb's going to make his way in late. Try to challenge Devil Duvek at close range. SMG versus 3 players back at the observation window. We'll get 1 pick out of it for Tabson, but Grix trades. It's a 4-on-3 right now for Big, who only has pistols here. They picked up an AK and a Galil here to work with. Mousquetaires, do they even get back into this round?
Well, it should be an instant save. They should have absolutely no attempt to go for this. They don't have any smokes on the retake. They've only got 1 incendiary. Drak is going to try and clear secret, and that should call it. That's when you back off completely.
And they're still dipping in, though. Sixer, it's feeling like a hero for a moment, but still only 1 kill to his name. He'll hold on to his rifle, as will Jax, back all the way away. And an instant response from Big puts Mousquetaires in even hotter water right now. But what a play. Big didn't outright rush it, but once they got that frag in, there was no stopping them getting into that B-bomb site. Pace picked up, all the success found, all the frags gained. And they are back on track to try and close this win out quick.
Now, it's difficult to judge what happened there at ramp because we're not looking at it from Taki's POV. But as a ramp player, and especially in the rounds where you're up against 4 spies, you can't afford to go down without creating impact. With at least going 1 for 1, maybe getting 1.5 kills, he gets completely overpowered. And that just buys so much space. You've got a JDC that's lurking down there from Secret. And that was the kill that just broke the round completely. And what a weird series this has been, in which only 1 out of 4 round 2 conversions have been successful. We've seen so many pistol rounds being won in which the follow-up round is being reset by the opposition. I'd say that's pretty infrequent. That's quite uncommon. Anti-4 spy rounds, to me, maybe have a 25-30% chance of victory. Sometimes it depends on the team. It depends on... To have 3 out of 4, yeah, don't see that.
Fires to the good for the German team. Mousquetaires rebuying back as much as they can. Getting desperate now to hold on to success. Maybe Sixer might utilize that desperation rather well. Outside the red box. Strikes onto Tabson. Finally, 2nd kill of the game, but no more than that. Grix and Freeze instant respond with 2 kills back. Grix is low. Process is tagged. Drax going to try and find a HE dead on JDC, and will chunk away a lot of his HP. The rifles are gone now. SMGs and a 5.7 left for Mousquetaires.
Now, Taki's taking this moment to still hold quite aggressively towards lobby, maybe try and clear out some of that space. Devaduvek is sitting back defensively in the lower corridors. Drak just needs to make sure that he doesn't go down. If he falls out towards credit, the round is over, because then the T's can either go lower in secret, or they can wrap main into A.
45 seconds on the clock. And Drax caught Grix, finally taking him down. Advantage mitigated, 3-on-3, still being worked against by the T-side line. And here's that bomb carrier, tries to challenge him and makes it successful. Process caught, reload, just gets out of the way of Freeze. JDC finally gets him back, but now the secret player makes his move in. The 5.7 of Devadu, he wasn't seen there. Oh, still not seen. I thought the player peeked into him, but no. Back's return, Freeze goes down, and JDC's got 15 seconds to get the bomb down on the bomb site at least. A 1v2 to play against, and walking right into Taki. Back site held, knows that time's with him, knows that JDC cannot afford to tap this and bait. He'll take his chance, and he'll take the round.
And when I consider that Six was probably in the most dominant position possible, you're thinking if a round is going to get stolen, it's going to be him maybe putting up 2, maybe 3 out there from the reverse of the T-Red. Instead, it's the extremity players. It's Drak staying alive and doing good work out there at credit. It's Devaduvek also delivering with impact out from secret. There may have been a lot of space on the outside from Big, but 2 players in particular, very difficult to deal with.
This goes to highlight where the rest of the impact has been. I mean, Sixer hasn't really provided much of it. Setting up one frag aside. That round was not really his responsibility. Big's rifles reduced to an AK and 2 deals. Now they're facing money troubles. Doesn't get any better with JDC going down. At least Tabson's caught one of them. Going right up to that rifle, picking up an AK from the dead body of Taki and leaning down to that B bomb site. Drak is there. Devaduvex on the way in. One doorway covered. Another one's about to be seen here by the AK-47. Bombs on the rafters. When do they plant it?
They need protection to try and get it down. They've got one smoke on Freeze. They need a strong crossfire.
Taps it. And they wait. Too soon to start rotating up. Sixer catches Grix off guard. Jax can get Tabson down. We're down to 2 men. Freeze is now rotating in from Secret. Process go overwhelmed by the numbers game. And the last man being seen. They now know that the round is theirs. Big will now lose their money. Will now lose their weapon buys. And we'll have to face some ecos. $1,900 lost bonus will stack up to a buy in the next. Mousquetaires can take that chance to reduce the gap to 2 rounds. Flying being brought back by them if I've ever seen. And just down to some unchecked angles and not familiarity with where Mousquetaires can come in from. Like in Utah in certain departments because of the buy state in that previous round. Now they've got no utility to worry about at all because there's none brought in here. It's a straight eco.
I've got a good feeling that we've got a game on our hands here in the second. This is a scoreline that doesn't have much in it, and one that we could see the AWP and 2 AKs being saved going into the next gun round.
And the Drak strikes on Freeze first. Sixer legged him. Bomb plant will still be secured on the back of the B bomb sites. So they'll have bonus cash available for Big. At that point, that's really what you're aiming for here. Glock of Tabson takes down one of the AKs, so trying to see if we can get the next player to be Drak will deal with JDC. Also revealed and also dealt with, so the section should be upgraded towards. Mousquetaires with 8 on the board. Actually don't even bother to go for that second AK, they just keep the AWP and the single one. But again, big harsh eco, get a bomb plant out of it. Bonus cash for the true buy. To defend their 2-round lead.
Now, you would expect not that many scrims out on Nuke for Big. Anytime you bring in a new in-game leader and a new AWPer, you want to work on your top heavy maps in the pool. That being your Train, your Dust 2, and even your Overpass recently. So this is going to test the in-game leadership for the T side of Freeze. How is he going to be able to call his way around? Aggression, lobby crunch coming in.
Duvek challenging one. Tabson isn't ready for it. He goes falling. Jax back being turned for a moment, but no one there to punish from Big. Smokes on the lobby entrance will stop the bomb from making progress. The 2 players up on the roof have got to stay there. And Big, well, not really like they had much set up, but they have to cancel any default there in lobby.
Tabson just had no one that was close towards a crossfire. They weren't ready for any sort of aggression in from ramp or out there to door. And it's even better utility usage to make sure that they can get out of there alive. You need to be getting the smokes down, the flashes. Don't give any freebies back to the T's. This is a very good start to the round. But for Big, they've now been able to condition because of these outside smokes. And this puts into question, are they going outside towards Secret? Is it a complete false sense of security? Are they going back towards inner? Definitely question marks with the outside smokes.
And they're still hunkered down to protect indoors. Oh, Taki seeing a player with his back turned. That's the bomb and everything. That's so much info. He's about to get processed with him as well. Slow the strike, take the kill. Transition back to the second with Devaduvex support. AK found by Grix. Tarkov. Triple from that man. JDC 1v5. And Mousquetaires start to find their own confidence. It's game on Dust 2. One more round left in it.
Taki has just 157 maps played on HLTV. He's inexperienced to this level of competition, but that's a round where not only timing was on point, but the trigger discipline was good. He gets himself the bomb dropped, 3 casualties all out there from lobby. The 20-year-old steps up, and Mousquetaires has now made this a scoreline of just 1. And this is now 3 AKs even being held, so 1 more than what they had in the previous gun round.
get better and better by them. A warning shot to Duvek, showing exactly what firepower the CETs have to play with now. Big, on the contrary, have so little. They have the max loss bonus, I think, in a moment. Another half buy available to them. Scumbite next. It's 4 rounds in a row for Mousquetaires, so this has really started to turn into a dangerous comeback for the Frenchman. Big has gone from all the confidence to now potentially losing the control that they've had almost all series long here.
It's surprising that someone like Tabson isn't dropping an AK for a JDC or even a Grix. The money's definitely strong enough to get a hero out. They're not getting much out of these upgrades at the moment. They might be forcing Util back, but they're still waiting for that opportunity to work a pick.
Six works the opening instead on Tabson. In the moment when the started to lose his control process, at least never dag with his deagle at close range. 30 seconds, bombs outside of the squeak door, so we're going to go through the A-bomb site. Taki challenged from 2 different directions, overwhelmed by Grix in the end. Ooh, Sixer could have his back turned as well to JDC. Strike just yet. Meanwhile, Grix his sniper rifle, unable to strike. 15 seconds. Need to go for the bomb plot here. Grix's core. Plant down on B site. So now, seeing what more JDC can do on this lurk upstairs. Gets kill. He's that headshot on the AWP can't quite land it. He can't get to that rifle either. Playing around his man. All timing, all positioning. JDC is to get seen. Sixer has been seen. The P250, the 5-7 rather, doesn't strike back, and JDC's take the 1 point of health. HE sent Sixer so low, and JDC goes down on the defuse. Freeze ain't moving. Freeze ain't moving. Jax, he could be denied, but no. He holds it all the way. Take the last player with him. Big, great effort to reduce them, but just not enough in the tank.
Well, you can understand why Freeze has not even decided to peek there. He knows, still a lurker up on the top side. There's only one down there at lower, and no smoke on the bomb. Of course he's trying to tap it. He's trying to draw the fight. Am I double doors? Am I single? I'm up on the rafters, out on the glass. And Jax just sticks it. That is mental for him to stick that defuse.
Veteran element sometimes is just beautiful. To think how different things could have been as well if Sixer had gone down a little bit earlier, something different had happened in that fight. JDC has done absolute work. 21 kills for him. It'll be a shame if Big were to bottle it now. Tactical pause was just called in by them and all. They've lost 5 in a row. They've lost their lead. The bomb plant bonus will enable a buy to come out here. AK's AWP have at least taken the majority of the AKs out of the Mousquetaires' hands. 1 left in Jax. What's the adjustment? What are they going to do to change their fortunes here?
Well, they've got the AWP up from Grix, and it's been a quiet series from it. Yes, he's had nothing posted, but a lot of them weren't round-defining kills. They were actually quite frequently against anti-ecos, against lower weapons. And this is his moment now at 10-10 when it's a competitive scoreline to make a difference. Now, JDC on the outside has had to deal with Duvek down corridors previously. And this time it's Taki deep here at Garage, and already some spam from Drak towards JDC.
Tag to 25. Oh, Grix wins the fight on 6. That's important. That's huge for them. Drak's going to have to fall away. Talking about players doing work on Big. He's also at 21 frags, so he might have to be the difference maker for Mousquetaires here. JDC's low. Teaser on the bomb side. Duvek has no back. He was going to wait for him to rotate. JDC will try and cut the rotations. Drak caught down by Grix in the meantime. Said he had a quiet game, but he's starting to fire up now, starting to get some loudness. Duvek opening up the decon door, revealing his position, challenging Prozis, who takes him down. And Drak and Taki, the last 2 players that remain, the inexperienced elements by comparison to their teammates, trying to get away into a retake. They line up for Prozis, who takes stinks on both. A kill on Drag. Tabson finishes off Taki. Bigger back in the lead.
What a shot that is from Grix. The AWP is posted. Now, they did see the AWP because the jump over, but even still, that's a difficult shot to land. And Jay was mentioning it earlier. We know that Grix on Heroic was able to go to Cologne, able to go to the Fisher Playground event. the only other international LAN he played was LAN to LAN with Astrum. So when he was a part of Aurora, didn't get a chance of going to any international LANs. When he was a part of Zorka and the Nemega Academy, and then even Aurora Youngblood, all being local Belarus LANs, never getting that jump forward. He's come here to Big and instantly they've qualified to India. And I want to see whether he can translate some of this online form to LAN. Because I think in the very few officials that we've seen since he's put on the Big jersey, he has been impressive, and he's been a huge difference to the overall team of impact from previous AWPers to now to the current one.
And just think about his impact here in this context, in this particular map up. Like, just look, he's just had a massive round, and it's the one round the Big need to break the streak. A quiet game, yes. But his impact, when it comes out, cannot be understated. So to keep that all the way through towards the end, because they've only got a couple rounds left to win it. Mousquetaires need 3 to take it away from Big. Orp on 6 of the outside, trying to support his teammates. HG's going to reveal positions, and the M4's a little bit closer of an angle. Devaduvek on indoors, meanwhile on A. Seeing utility come his way, Molotov's back to the closed vent corner. He'll fall back to the back of the bomb site, playing anchor alongside his actual anchor on the...
JDC's got to hope that he doesn't get spammed. Every time he's tried to walk down towards Secret, he's normally on red HP. Sixer does catch off an AWP kill this time.
Process down. And Big walk their way forward for it. Grix has called Jax. Want to respond to that is Devaduvek might not even be ready for the player in the open. And Tabson finds him. And Grix follows up. Sixer returned onto another AWP v AWP fight for the Belarusian. Drak and Taki again in an impossible situation. A 2v4. So spread out, so far away from each other, and may even get challenged by individuals. Watch that Secret player particularly. Taki's revealed himself to go for the AWP to save it into the next round. Give Mousquetaires a little bit bonus, because Big will be on map, match, and grand final point here in the Chennai European Qualifier. Drak just getting some exits together will at least take down JDC. And Taki will get tapped. Some damage means little at this stage, though. It's all about survival. Maybe getting an extra rifle. Maybe keeping his players suppressed inside the bomb blast. Freeze will get Drak in the end. And with Grix will stay alive. 2 series points.
And Tabson's also another player that struggled immensely individually. Showed nothing on map 1, showed pretty much nothing on map 2. But that is the kill against Devaduvek that opens up the rounds. Now, if you are Devaduvek, that's probably a death slamming moment, isn't it? Because you're in an off angle, you're holding heart, you have to readjust out towards the left-hand side, and you come so close to getting that kill. If you get that kill in cleanly, it is a completely different round. You've got a defense to hold there on A. But in-game leader versus in-game leader, it's Tabson that comes out in that 1v1 duel.
Fast up from Process, trying to get towards the outside and challenge players of Mousquetaires. Camp Big. Faster defaults, not quite fast executions. Devaduvek pays the price for that much. Taki, meanwhile, here on ramp. M4 trading places with 6. I'm going to get the hell out of the way of that Molotov, because the onslaught is incoming in Big. They now have ramp access and control.
They've got JDC in the lower corridors undetected right now with the outside util. They are leaving ramp. They're going back towards inner. Now, there's not a huge amount of util to block here for the CTs.
JDC just trying to lurk and make some noise. Fast and loose, Kine, but he's fourth point. The rotation, Devaduvek. Low HP upon the man. Get him, no, he's turned away. Drak and Jack, kills found elsewhere. As the aftertake gets taken, Freeze gets caught in the middle of the air. JDC comes in with support. It's him and Grix. Now Grix alone, the Sixers off the strike. HG returned onto Heaven, and Singer is coming back towards... Where's the bomb? I think it's been dropped in the center of the bomb site. That casualty on Freeze may have left it in the open, but it's a 1v2 for Grix. He's trying to play it patiently, and no one's offering anything from the Frenchman.
Well, he knows that Taki is the ramp player, and he's expecting him to either rotate up from the vent or rotate Secret via main. It's a matter of time. Now, he might tap and try and draw a fight just because he's got no util. He's got no protection to get this bomb down.
Gets towards backside. Needs Heaven open. Sixer comes up with a 5-7 instead, and shuts him down for one more round, for one more chance for Mousquetaires to make this their map. Neither overtime. We'll play the full 24 round.
especially in that last right towards the it's cool. This is the new because isn't it? Their opening against Gen 1, they were down 2-10, brought in a huge comeback, brought it all the way to overtime and won it 19-17. And then against Molo yesterday, they were also out on nuke that went into overtime. So this could potentially be the third nuke in the competition that goes all rounds in regs and further.
Should be noted as well that Molo result, that was an overtime loss for Mousquetaires at the same. Not a guarantee that you win the map by taking us all that distance, but they could still get shut down here. Either way, it'll be their last chance to maintain something here in the qualifier. Big. Just need this one result to secure the series. And secure their title position. Galil out for free to be the limiting factor. The damage has actually compounded in a small amount against them. But you'll still find that AWP shot for Grix. Jack's down. Advantage big.
The AWP, every time we have seen impact from him in key rounds in the second half, he's multi-fragged. So just because he's got one, expect a second. JDC is not really aggressing on the outside. Normally he's always down there in secret, trying to get into B. He's so much more cautious this time. And for the Mousquetaires, being down in a 4v5, you've got to expect an info play somewhere. Now, Drac is in secret and he's not seeing anything. A is very weak because Taki is giving ramp completely. They are gambling right now.
Outside smokes. Cut off Sixer. Drac is up to task. 23 picks deep. What's he going to find and where is he going to find it? Sixer gets nothing. Drac does find JDC and dips right the hell out of the way. Trying to play for time because that has been a factor against Big so far. 40 seconds for the bomb plant.
Well, they might have to go main to A here. That smoke in at secret is just going to bottle so much time off of the clock.
That's where the gamble can start to work out for them. Sixer's AWP is being contested. Big are trying to slow walk their way through. Get up to heaven. Freeze involved. Sixer and his big green. Going up for a big close quarters fight. Bomb is up there at heaven as well. They're making their way in from Mini to try and maintain themselves. Sixer gets caught middle of the air. Tabson takes him down. But Taki, his two lined up. Grix and freeze strike. They get the bomb down. They don't need to because they got the final kill at the right moment. 13-11. Big have done it. 2-0 once again. Work across the qualifier. An excellent team in form. The changes have worked and they will be your winners of the CEGC European qualifier.
Well done to Big. This was definitely a more testing best of three than the one that they had yesterday against BC Game. And at moments, it probably looked like this was going to go to overtime, especially with that crunch going down with the A bomb site. 3 players all close around on the defense on A, but not to be. Now, from Mousquetaires' perspective, they have to look at this and say, we have given a fight to a squad of experienced players when we aren't even really considered much of a threat in Tier 2. We certainly weren't considered to go on a run in this bracket. So I think the French can hold their heads up quite high after this series.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. I think that from a team perspective, they had things definitely well poised together on that nuke. The individuals showing their potential over on that overpass as well. I think that Drac was severely just, I don't want to say left alone to do his own thing, but he was doing some great work, I think, on that nuke when he followed up to actually generate, or the impact generated never actually led to the rounds themselves. So that might be a little bit understated as to how much he really did, but the fact that he was doing all that while Sixer was still down at 0 frags at certain points and other players weren't forming around him shows to me that there are certainly some talents coming through this Mousquetaires side at the same time.
It's very true, and perhaps we need to use these next 2 weeks just to get a feel on what the lead time, let's say, is going to be like. How competitive Big and Mousquetaires are going to be once they get to the LAN environment, following their track record in the online sphere, seeing what their form is like. And also, for the Southeast Asian teams, they've got a big sample size of results to pull from. I'm sure they'll be looking at a lot of matches in this open qualifier and just see, even if we're not going to be the favorites, even if we're not going to be considered to hold weight against them, let's see if we can surprise. Let's see if we can make it uncomfortable for the favorites.
And you've got some opportunities as well to try and stress test the potential mistakes on these teams, thinking about the fact that Big were pushed in this series, or you want to be taking a look at what Mousquetaires are doing on that nuke to be able to force that out and try and turn some sort of advantage against the Big side. The same thing with Mousquetaires, because they've had their close affairs throughout the course of this matchup, and maybe you might not look at, for that course of qualifier rather, maybe you might not look at the Big match per se and say we can do that, but maybe you could look at the Molo series and see the overtimes that they lost out on those ones, or maybe even the push from their first round game at the same, or their quarterfinal game rather at the same time, and say, yeah, actually that there are some moments in which we can exploit potentially some of the lack of firepower, the lack of individual sort of prowess from these two teams, and try to see if we can play spoiler against any of them in the LAN.
And that's what it's all about. It's about getting the local Asian teams comfortable with the LAN environment. I know that Daymake had already attended with True Rippers at the very last Skyesports Championship that we had last year. So to go out there again, to go in with the Southeast Asian team this time and to get the taste of what it's like. And I also think that for the lesser known squads from the Indian region, from the Southeast Asian region, they do not get opportunities to play European teams, do they? Just geographically. And to go up against ex-Tier 1 players in Devek and Jackson Sixer, an ex-Tier 1 organization and team in Big, this is going to be a great challenge for the outer region squads.
Yeah, a chance to learn from them from experience. And of course, Big and Mousquetaires will both be at the LAN event itself. Big take the top seed thanks to this victory, however, and that will certainly make things a little bit more easier for them. I don't imagine that they'll be posting up much challenges against either of these two teams, at least on paper, right? Here we talk about potentially playing spoiler, and certainly you want to try and aim towards that. But in terms of weighing them all up, these two teams should be our favourites in their respective group. But Big will be taking on the second seeds of the Indian and Southeast Asian qualifiers, whereas Mousquetaires will be taking on the first seeds of those two ones. So a bit more of a tougher affair in terms of the group stages. But we are still expecting these two teams to come out towards the grand finals of that event and get a bit of a rematch going. And maybe Mousquetaires can learn from how this series went down and apply that to what will be a more important match.
Well, this is, of course, hypothetical, that we don't know the real answer, but I would be pretty confident to say that Six is going to perform a lot better on LAN than he did today. This was a quiet series from him, wasn't it? This was not a good showing. He was quiet on map 1. He almost did nothing on map number 2. For someone that's as experienced as him, once he gets to the LAN environment, I'm expecting him to give Grix a run for the money. Now, I'm going to be honest, Grix is the much better AWPer. That's obvious. But I think we're going to get a much better showing from Six on LAN than what we did today.
I'd certainly hope so. At the very least, there's a nice chance to see an all-1-6 veteran back on the big stages, even if they're not the biggest stages in the world. Talking about Grix, though, you mentioned, of course, that he's been the better AWPer. Man alive, he continues to deliver impressive moments, and even if he's not necessarily my MVP pick for that nuke, he certainly is a guy that delivered when it needed him the most. Again, the one round that Big were breaking the streak with, that was because of a performance by him overall, and also by a performance by him in that particular round, and he kept replicating that towards the tail end, so he was the pivotal factor to getting over the finish line there for the Big side. Him being unlocked on this team is so surprising to me, because again, he didn't have a very good time over on that Heroics, where I didn't know how well he was going to do right here, but he has become an absolute superstar in just these early few results. I'm hoping that continues so far as time goes on here for Big.
Yeah, the glazing seems unreal from Jay. I'll put it into perspective though. You go out and play on Heroic, you're versing Tier 1 teams on LAN. You come and join Big and you're playing AM Gaming. You're playing BC Game. You're playing Mousquetaires. They've not played high-end Tier 2 teams yet. So the sample size of result looks good. He's definitely performing well, but I want to see what he's up against the top 30 teams in the world, the top 25 teams in the world. And if he can continue this same level of form, then of course it's going to be exciting. But it's difficult to temper expectations when they really haven't played the better teams yet.
That's true, although I do have a bit more stock in besting even Simple in his own squad. I want to see where it continues upon that and again, make it consistent and take on some of those higher-end teams. The MVP for this map, however, has got to be JDC. He was lights out on his numbers. He posted, I think, the 23 frags by the end of that one. Yeah, 23 kills by the end of that nuke. I think he also took the top frag position as well in that last map up. So our series MVP overall.
JDC is always an exceptional player, mainly because he's in a lot of the good roles. He's always in the roles that give him the majority of the space. He gets a lot of resources, so you expect him to put up a lot of impact on Overpass when you're playing Con, when you're playing outside on Nuke. Definitely a guy that is going to be one to watch for when it comes to the LAN environment. I think now that he's got AWPing support, normally when we talk about a good core of players, we're talking about two strong riflers and the AWPer. I think unfortunately for Big, throughout the last 12 months, maybe even 24 months, they've not had a stable core 3, have they? Because they've not had that AWPer. They've not had Hyped or Sirison that's been that X-Factor guy. Now that Grix is in there, it feels like JDC finally has a buddy that they can win together with.
And the fact that they're doing as well as they have. I mean, JDC, his performances come at a time when I wasn't sure if he was ever going to make it back to relevant level of CS with this Big side, considering how poorly Big were doing up until these roster moves and considering where his best years seem to be on that Mouse side. And now it feels like actually there is a bit of a second win for this player. There's a bit of a second opportunity for Big to work their way up into the top end of the Tier 2 scene first and then move on to bigger and greater. Think of that. So look, again, all the fundamentals are there. The eye test is there. We are very encouraged by the nature of how this big side have performed this week, and now it's a case of going forward into the next big thing, the LAN event first and foremost, but also any other Tier 2 tournaments that are around the corner and performing in those as well.
And I think for Big now, that they've qualified to the LAN and they've got a 2-0 today, not only have they got to go out towards the LAN and they've got to get a victory, but they've got to start pumping teams. If you want to get back to that arc of a Tier 1.5 or even Tier 1, you've got to go to Chennai and show who's boss. You've got to come there and show that you're the real kings and that you're going to be difficult to face. So for that reason, the Germans have got to come out there and at bare minimum, they've got to be winning the title. That's
the expectation in my eyes with how good they've looked, with how they've taken down one of our key front runners, with Mousquetaires having that asterisk on the foot side. Yeah, I would agree. Big expectation should be to win this event. Get those VRS points, get yourselves a little bit of a team overall. If you can do that, then all's well, that will end well for the big side. For this week, however, they have certainly become champions of the European Qualifier, and that much, I think, is a very good sort of way to end off the week for them. Now it's just get your heads back in the practice servers and get yourselves ready for the bigger challenges to come. But look, I mean, Drake, it's been a fun week overall. You know, I wasn't expecting Big to actually be up here. I had a little faith in the team coming into this event, but this has very much proven me wrong. They were one of the favourites that I had at the back end of the three that we had as our key front runners in the qualifier. So them already superseding my expectations. Now it's to go even further than that.
And all I can say is, thank goodness we've got open qualifiers, right? If this was just a pure VRS invite, there would be no way that the French would be here. We get a lack of open qualifiers throughout the Tier 2 scene, especially throughout the world. So we get a chance for a team like a Jackson Code to show that they can perform on LAN.
I don't even know if Big would have been able to make it this far as well, considering how the invite systems would have worked. I mean, there's question marks around them, given how the cores would have worked out and the points they would have lost for the changes. But we can digress all day about the theoretics and the mathematics behind VRS and probably still get it wrong, Blake. So it is what it is. Either way, Big champions of the European Qualifier and looking to try and become champions of the Chennai Esports Global Championship. Again, make sure you're tuning in for the LAN finals. They will be taking place very, very soon in November from the 7th to the 9th, so only a couple of weeks to go. Make sure you're tuning in for all that action. But for this week and for this qualifier, we are all done. On behalf of myself, the Eternal Jay, my co-commentator Blake, and all the production staff and analysts behind the scenes here, I want to thank you so much for watching and for listening. We'll see you back here for the Chennai Esports Global Championship LAN final. Until then, though, it's good night and goodbye.
Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown problems in the paper. Put my problems paper dial up the deputy mad at my brown. Listen here, buddy. paper, put my problems paper, dial up the deputy, mad at my brown problems in the paper, put my problems paper, dial up the deputy, mad at my brown problems in the paper, put my problems paper.